Rocco now into a skip.
Yeah, so he catches his leg. I cannot. Oh, he's so close.
Yeah, let's go! Oh, yes! Got him as well. I don't know what kind of nutmeg that was. That was the luckiest nutmeg I've ever seen in my life.
A lot of enjoyment, obviously, from the boys out there at the moment, but it's definitely business now. Chelsea have just kicked off in the Club World Cup final. Let's get this tweeted, in fact, because I think this is kind of summing up how a lot of us are feeling. I'm a nervous wreck. Come on, Chelsea. The nerves do kick in, don't they, when you get this close to kick-off and the game's just started, so we're definitely feeling that way. Someone that is never uncomposed is Terran. Terran, how are you feeling, mate? Are you feeling nervous or you're all right?
Oh. I'm doing good. Can you guys hear me now?
We can, mate. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. So yeah, again, I always come to you because I know that you're always going to be that composure for us. But Chelsea have started fairly well so far. And that's kind of what you want because you can see the Palmeiras fans are clearly creating quite an atmosphere already. So yeah, a good start from Chelsea needed.
Yes, I agree. I'm very excited about how we lined up today, and I like the lineup that we have out there. Oh, come on! Sorry. Yeah. Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Yeah, I am enjoying the lineup, and I like how we got the early pressure on. So I hope everybody enjoyed this game today.
Absolutely, mate. Fingers crossed. And Terran did say in the week, Pat, Terran said that he's quite happy and he quite enjoys a 1-0 or a tight game like that. And I had to completely disagree and say I'd quite happily take a 4 or a 5-0. I'd enjoy that a lot more.
Do you know what? It changes. There are 1-0s that are quite cool. They're quite laid back. But I'm not comfortable. No. I'm not comfortable most of the time. I'd rather 3-2 than a 1-0. Let's be honest, I'd rather 3-2 than a 1-0. By the way, he was getting excited there because Chelsea were not far away at the back post there.
Good start, yeah, and we've seen it before, Sam, but Cesar Azpilicueta early involvement.
Yeah, I think from kickoff he was making runs into their box. I think he's obviously, like you said, he's felt the defeat from the last time, and he genuinely wants to make up for that opportunity that he had. And I think with Callum coming in from the left and cutting in, that's always going to be an option back post as well. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
He's doing that thing, that inverted fullback thing that a lot of people are doing just now. He's absolutely amazing at it. In the first game, it was unbelievable how many times he did invert that because if Ziyech at the time goes wide, he's got that gap, and you watch Cancelo doing it, actually most of the top teams are actually doing it just now. Aspie's brilliant at it.
Yeah, he absolutely is. And Dan also, Sam's mentioned it there, but he's the only player that's still current from the 2012 defeat to Corinthians in this final. And it's been spoken about well, half a chance there for Palmeiras, but well defended by Aspi, actually, speaking of him. But he's the only one that's still remaining from that team. And also, it does tick off pretty much every trophy possible that he could win if he wins this today. So it means a lot to him.
It means a lot. I mean, has he actually won everything else? He has, hasn't he? This is the one then. This completes the set. And he'll obviously want revenge for the last time we were in this competition. When it's you just want players to go off, romantically, like how Drogba did when he scored the final penalty and stuff like that. You want it to end in a fairy tale way, even if hopefully it doesn't end yet. But we want him to finish his Chelsea career having won everything he could possibly win with us. And we've had a good start so far. Palmeiras are beginning to warm into this match. But I've been quite impressed with how we've played, and Aspi especially how he's played.
I don't expect a huge amount of excitement from this game, Pat, because if I've done a little bit of research on Palmeiras, I'm not going to be one of those football people that said they've watched every game they've ever played, because I certainly haven't. But I've tried to find out a little bit more about them, and they are quite defensive. They're quite well set up. Abel Ferreira, who's the manager, has won back-to-back Libertadores, being quite defensive, quite cautious. That approach seems to work quite well for them.
Well, it's funny, it depends a lot of the time how they play, but they do that 4-2-3-1, don't they? And it's the chap you were talking about, it's that Viega. Now, if he gets on the ball and you give him space, we've got a problem. You know, because he has got real talent. You know, Ronnie, the other one you're talking about, they can shift a little bit between themselves. So they're a good team. By the way, they do not lack confidence at all. They believe, you know, even though they're not right at the top of the Brazilian league just now. So, but then again, I suppose we can't argue with that, seeing as we're third as well. But no, I think the game, if it gets an early goal, and we came close quite early on, and as we say that, there was a little moment again. Guess who was the edge of the box again, yes? That's me. I feel quite good. Somebody, remember the first time he did that in one of the games down here, and we're thinking, has anyone told you you're a right back? But he spends more time breaking into the box than almost any player. It's extraordinary, isn't it?
It's got a free roll from right back.
And it's just so modern. And again, we watched Cancelo doing it, we watched Alexander-Arnold doing it. He's fantastic at it as well. There's a couple of players up in Scotland that are doing it as well. But Aspi just knows how to do it. And I know why we're doing it. And it's complicated stuff. I'm sure we all get it. But quite often Romelu will have 3 players around him. If he's got 3 players, there's space somewhere else.
Yeah.
Get in there. That's it.
I have to say as well, boys, Pat would be livid if his fullback was overlapping him the amount that says I
tell you?
absolutely fuming he would be.
No, I'm telling you, I played with Stevie Clarke and we worked on we called it an underlap then. And now it's called, you know, inverted. But it's exactly the same thing. And Stevie Clarke, who did not bad for us.
Yeah, he done all right,
didn't he? For Scotland as well.
He's still doing all right, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
Still doing very much all right. Yeah, Chelsea started very well. Jonathan, good start from Chelsea. Has this eased any nervous energy you've had?
For this game, it looks quite even. The Palmeiras, their midfield are quite disciplined. I can see that their line is very disciplined. So it will be a long night for us.
I think it's going to be one of those patient approaches, isn't it? Really, it's definitely going to need a little bit of that today. Lauren, how are you feeling now? How are you and the team feeling? Are you feeling a little bit more calm? We've already seen 1 or 2 energetic reactions from all 3 of you in early half chances. So I think this is going to be an exciting watch along this afternoon.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Still a little bit nervous, to be honest. I'm waiting for us to take a little bit more control, I think.
Is there anyone you're looking at today for sort of the difference maker? I know that you could name 1 to 11 for Chelsea for that, but who do you think? Who are you and the guys thinking is going to make the difference today?
I'm hoping Havertz steps up. I think he played a decent game in the week, and I think he should be involved a little bit more. And I'm hoping that this game he'll make his mark and get back into the team sheet.
It's a great shout. Speaking of Kai Havertz, earlier in the week he spoke to Lee Parker.
Kai, first of all, good to see you. How's it been for you here in Abu Dhabi so far?
Yeah, I think nice. I think we all are enjoying, of course, the good weather in the moment. It's always nice to play football in the sun. But of course we are here with high expectations, with a big goal in our mind, and that is to win the trophy. And I think it all starts from today evening, tomorrow's game, and we're all focused and hopefully can get a win tomorrow.
Does the changing climate that you mentioned, does that change the intensity when it comes to training or playing matches?
I'm not sure. Of course, it's different if you play in the sun or if you play in the rain or in cold weather. But I mean, we have a lot of players who already played a lot of games in a lot of different countries. So, of course, there's always another climate. But I think we are well prepared. We trained the last 2 days very well in the sun, which is good for us. And now I think it starts tomorrow to win the game.
Another big competition to look forward to. Do you feel that this is a culmination of what's been an incredible 12 months, really?
Of course, I think we are here, or we know that Chelsea didn't manage to win this trophy. So I think you can say maybe you have once it's a chance, and once in a lifetime, maybe you have in your career once a chance to win this trophy. So we know how big it is for us as a team, for the whole club, for the fans, for everybody. and that's the reason why we are here and why we are so focused in the last couple of days. And we know it's of course it's a tough competition, but I think the expectations are very high and we want to win it.
Just as we watch that, Kai Havertz had a wonderful break from midfield. We've not seen a huge amount of Kai this year for a number of different reasons, but this system with Lukaku playing as the 9 and Kai more of a 10, it suits him more, do you think?
Absolutely. Before he came to Chelsea, his best position was one off the striker, be it right, be it left. If you look at all his goals he scored, I remember studying all his goals, and it was this drifting in, fading in, Lampard-esque, but usually heading the ball at the back post. He's brilliant at it, and it does absolutely suit him. By the way, what about his pace there?
Yeah. He showed that on Wednesday as well.
He did. I was just exactly what I was going to say, sir. He's got unbelievable pace. Do you know the thing that gets me, though? See, if I had that pace, I'd be using it all the time. He just uses it now and again. But we know it's there. I was Lauren and Livy were talking about it a few moments ago, weren't they? The fact that wanting to get the best out of him. By the way, can I say, is it Livy? I think it is Livy. Cool top. She's actually wearing one that I wore. Thank you. Well done.
We didn't plan that either, so that's good. Yeah. Just carrying on from the Kai Havertz point, Dan, because he's a wonderful footballer to watch. And I know every time we have this conversation, we talk about him being a special player to watch, and the way that he does things is special, it's different. Yeah. But like you just said there, the burst of pace that you see from him, he's adding elements to his game that perhaps the more sort of passive fans that haven't watched a huge amount of him prior to his arrival at Chelsea don't necessarily know that he's got. And I think because he's such a young age, we still see his game developing on a week-by-week basis.
I think that's because he's got absolutely everything. You know, he's more tenacious than people give him credit for. He's obviously a lot quicker than people give him credit for. The thing that's most obvious to the naked eye is his technique is beautiful, it's graceful, and it's got a hint of like Berbatov to it. It's just very... Everything looks nice.
Elegant.
Everything looks elegant. That's the perfect word for it. But he's obviously got everything else to his game as well. He's good in the air, and he's a very, very good brain. You know, there's very few number 10s in the world. You know, it's quite a specialist position because you've got to make the correct decision in a split second. And you know, he seems to have all of these attributes. It's just about pulling them all together and you know, fulfilling the potential. In
the Liverpool game, he was brilliant, Sam. And there's so many games that you can pinpoint through Kai Havertz. But when he plays with Mason Mount in one of those two sort of 10 positions, it gives him a little bit more freedom, doesn't it? Because we know that Mason can show the industry side and he can get up and down, he can drop into a midfield 5 and pick the ball up off whoever it be, Kanté, Kovacic, Jorginho. But Kai can do that as well. But the fact that he almost doesn't need to do that as much, you can kind of allow him to drift and pick up little pockets where he becomes a problem. I suppose it is a little bit more, we're still learning the best way to play with Kai Havertz. And that sounds like a silly thing to say, bearing in mind he's won us the Champions League.
Yeah, but that's the thing, he's a very smart player. So I think now Tuchel's realising that he can give him that freedom, and I think, like Pat said, he gets a lot of that freedom when he plays in behind the striker. He can either drop deep to get the ball, or he can make the runs in behind. I don't actually think he likes sprinting that much. when he does, he's just like, okay, I'll do it this one time. But yeah, like we've been saying, he's such an elegant, sophisticated player, and he likes to get stuck in, and I think that he's got a lot of the attributes that you do see from the modern day number 10, and yeah, it's quality to see.
I also compare him quite frequently, Pat, with Pernille Harder when I see Pernille play for the Chelsea women's game, because like Sam said there's that burst of energy, but also there's that elegance in the way that they run and the way that they can kind of contribute to games. But also, I like the mystery of both Pernille Harder and Kai Havertz. I still don't really know what position they play, and I like that.
There's an efficiency about them. See, if you don't know, then the defender doesn't know either, which is a really, really good thing. Now, there's a lot of players. Ballack used to do that sort of stuff as well. Known lots of players, and it's back to Frank, used to arrive in those sort of areas, and because you're coming from a deeper area, because you're kind of looking at space, you're not always looking at game. A footballer once said to me once, you just go where the players aren't. It's just not more complicated than that. Go where other players aren't. And that's what he does, isn't it? he drifts into those spaces, and yeah, I think contractually we all have to say elegant at least once, don't we? Contractually, because he's possibly the most elegant player I've ever seen.
I completely agree with you. Right, I've got a little quiz question I thought we'd dip into as we go through the game. A little bit of an opening 15 minutes lull there is last couple of minutes. Has been a bit end to end, but also not a huge amount of note happening. As I say, that Mason Mount's got a free kick in a decent area. I've got 8 questions through the show, okay? So I will try and keep a record of who's winning. Nearest to the pin, all right, okay? So you can all have an answer. So, Pat, I'll start with you because you're sat next to me. How many different players have scored for the first team this season? How many different players?
Oh, gosh, big. It's 18. I'm going 18.
Sam?
I was going to say 18 as well.
Say 18 as well, mate?
18, yeah.
I mean, you could both be right, you could both be wrong.
Yeah, I'll say 18.
The sensible one.
I'm going to go 17.
17, okay.
Good intelligence.
All right. It was 18. Good work.
Oh.
Good work. Good work. That's not bad, though. That's not bad, though.
Honestly, that was a guess.
I'm going to zoom out, though, Pat, just in case. You never know. Got good social media reaction. Do keep them coming in this afternoon. Thiago Silva is going to end this game with... I'm not even going to attempt that number, Yanni. Passes and probably loads of key passes. He has had a lot of the ball so far. And also, I did a little bit of research. Thiago Silva is one of the few players that have played against Palmeiras, obviously, naturally, from coming through at Fluminense. He will understand this a lot more than most, Dan, sort of their attitude towards the game, because he'll have grown up around it.
Yeah, he'll know Brazilian football. Maybe not as well as he might have if he stayed in Brazil. He's obviously spent the large part of his career in Europe, but he'll know this team inside out. He would have played against them. And he'll know kind of the general Brazilian attitude to football, which is fast tempo, flary, but they can defend. You know, that for a long time there was a thought that Brazilian teams, including their national team, could not defend. You know, and they only cared about attacking, but they can. They're well balanced now. All their players have got natural ability, and they'll be well organised. So, and you can already see it because. Even though we are one of the most organised teams in world football, they are not. We're not completely outshining them at the moment.
Completely right. And again, I think there's an element of it's a good chance there, but good save by Eduardo Mendy. Just on that, Sam, Dan's absolutely right. You know, Thiago Silva's more aware of the Brazilian sort of attitude to football. But I mean, Weatherton, who started in goal for Palmeiras today, is an international teammate of Thiago Silva. He's third in line to play in goal for Brazil, which, when you consider he's behind Alisson and also Ederson as well. I mean, there's a very high standard you're keeping. But there's a lot of that, isn't there? There is a lot of. The European football market is very much the Champions League is the big one. That's the big final that you aim to play in. This is massive. This is a final that, again, all the Brazilian players and all the players that play for Palmeiras very much understand. You can see by their approach in the opening 15 minutes, very much understand how important this is to them.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. You can literally see from the free kick that they just had, Mendy held the ball and you see like a close-up of their players sprinting back to get into position. That's how much it means to them. I think that they're going to try and maintain that energy, and the fans are going to help them do that throughout the whole game because, like you said, it is the biggest game of their season. It's
a big, big atmosphere in there. As well, another player, Pat, that's quite familiar with this is Kennedy, because Kennedy played in the Copa Libertadores final against Palmeiras for Flamengo last year. He came on as a substitute in extra time. But those little narratives, there aren't many, but they add a little bit more sort of experience to the Chelsea camp.
Yeah, they do. I mean, by the way, I've never been live to a Copa Libertadores final. It's one of the ones that we want to do. It's bucket list stuff, that one. Yeah. Love to go. And if you've played in it, it's an incredible thing. But what you're saying about them is we've said it right from the start. But to go back to the point you were making about goalkeepers, Brazilian goalkeepers and defenders, right? Goalkeepers, they were famously rotten, right? For years and years and years and years. And then suddenly, golden era. And if you look at the defenders, again, it wasn't always a strong point. Because they wanted to play and they wanted to play out, and every Brazilian player wants to be good in the ball. But I think Thiago Silva changed a lot. I really do. And if you go back to that very famous, the 7-1 game against Germany,
yeah.
Guess who wasn't playing that day?
Absolutely right.
Well, there was two people who weren't playing that day. First of all, Neymar. Everyone thought he was the problem. That's why they could beat. No, it's because Thiago Silva wasn't playing beside David, and that's why they get done. But very, very big time for Brazilian football, because I like the point that you're making there. Lively, aren't they? We talk about the Premier League being quick and maybe South American football not being 100 mile an hour. No, they're blow for blow, 20 minutes gone. Let's see if they can last 90.
Absolutely right, we'll find out. Terry, just carrying on from that, because Palmeiras finished third in the league last year. The winners were Athletic Mineiro, who had Diego Costa up front. So, again, there's another little Chelsea buy-in that you can find there, but you can see the central defenders will not be fazed by coming up against someone as sort of ready for the battle as Romelu Lukaku, because they have to deal with that week in, week out. And again, because you don't see a huge amount of Brazilian football, we do tend to forget that and think there's a drop-off. There isn't a drop-off.
No, I would totally agree with that. No, I think that is a competitive league as well. Clearly, they have talented players because we've had some of their players, and Kennedy as an example there. So, I mean, I would never think anything less than a good effort from them.
How's the atmosphere in the bar that you're in, Terran, as well?
It's fantastic. It's awesome to be down here in my way tavern in Raleigh. So it's been good to have people come up. Everybody's come out and say hi, and they're watching the game. So we're having a good time today. And
it's also nice to see you in daylight, mate, because you've been on before where the sun was rising along with you, and you put the hours in. We very much appreciate having you on. Thank you, mate.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
Absolute pleasure. Absolute pleasure. What have you made of then the first 20-odd minutes, Dan? It's been a very even battle so far.
I thought we started well. I feel like we were pressing them out. I feel like we still are pressing them out. I feel like we're figuring them out slightly faster than they are figuring us out. We're having the bulk of the ball. They seem to be happy with Thiago Silva having it and trying to fizz a pass through to somebody. They refuse to press him, probably because they know he's kind of unpressable. But we're beginning to make some gaps and find little holes to play through. I've been quite impressed. You know, we've limited them to a couple of balls into the box and a couple of breaks which have been phased out. I think it's a game of patience.
Yeah. We have done a really unusual tactical thing here. I'm sure it's Jonathan would have spotted this as well. What position is Christensen playing? I think he's playing right back.
I was just thinking
I actually think he's playing right back for us. Aspie's playing right wing. He's really far up there. If we lose the ball, it changes slightly. But we're trying to overload on the right-hand side, constantly overloading the right-hand side. And you're asking, definitely... Oh, Kai Havertz is in there. But you're asking him to go that far forward. Aspie's sometimes going inside, sometimes going outside. They're looking uncomfortable with it. And it's when we get the ball, we almost turn into a forward, don't we?
Yeah. I was going to say, then when the ball switched to the other side, Aspie drops into right back, Rudiger's playing left back, and Callum Hudson-Odoi at left wing.
It's almost not like wing backs. It's almost like, no, we will do a back four now. And Christensen is just standing on a classic right full back's position, and it's trying to overload those positions. Well, you can tell Thomas is back, can't you? We're thinking about things and we're doing it in some sort of... By the way, he's his usual self on the bench, isn't he? He's jumping up and down as ever. He's up for this one.
I was going to say that, Sam. How much of a boost is it to have the manager back in? I know that we all know it, but it is such a character. And we even saw from the second he steps off the plane, the additional yard it gives to players, you can feel.
Yeah, you always want your gaffer around, especially in big games like this, because it's just a good to look over at the bench and know that he's able to instruct you. And even though the assistant manager did a great job in his absence, at the same time you just want him there so he can, if things aren't going right, tell you you'll be okay. And I'm sure, obviously we've played at different levels. Pat's played at the very top, but Sunday League, I can say if my manager's around, it makes a big difference, honestly. So I think from the reaction as well, from the players as well, I think they appreciate that.
That's tickled you, that one, Dan. That's cool. Also, just a little observation that I've only just noticed there as well. Thomas Tuchel's wearing the same jumper he wore in the Champions League final. He's not worn the tracksuit. It's a good effort, by the way, from Palmeiras. Yeah, he's not wearing the tracksuit. So again, I think that shows the attitude, doesn't it, Dan? It shows that he's taking this very seriously. Yeah,
I think you've got to attack the cup matches like this. I feel like in cup matches you wear a suit or you wear a smarter clothing, and then when it's the Premier League or when it's a lesser competition, you can go slightly more sporty and casual, and it shows. Is that the exact same jumper from the Champions League final?
I don't know that for a fact.
I like it. I like that storyline. I think we should go with that storyline.
Well, I know that he made a big thing about wearing the same shoes, didn't he? He was going to wear the same shoes, and then I don't think he did wear the same shoes that he was going to wear for the final for PSG, etc. So maybe there's a little bit of superstition in that, because that's a big thing in football, isn't it, Pat?
It's a really big thing you say. There's two things. It may be superstition, and lots of players are quite superstitious, and lots of people are. But there's also something else. and it's a psychological message you are sending to your players. So if you want them to think, right, this is big, this is major, this is something you have to be concentrated on, and you want them to have that attitude, you probably wear the suit and you wear, you know, that sort of stuff. But there's another thing in a big game. You can always say, actually, I'd like to calm them down a bit. So you dress down a little bit. Just what the manager wears actually sends a wee message already. So it's, it can be superstition, but it can also be that.
I was going to ask that actually, Sam, because that it kind of brings us on to the thing. Before kick-off, I felt it was a certainty that Kerr would start today. You know, he's done a magnificent job whilst Mendy's been away with the African Cup of Nations. He's been fantastic for us, and I just assumed that he would continue in goal today. But maybe that's another thing that Thomas Tuchel was sort of sending a message how serious he's taking. You've got a champion that's just come back, that's got experience of winning a trophy 7 days ago. You bring that winning mentality straight back into the camp and say, no, he's won a big trophy. He comes back in for another big trophy. You're kind of putting that message across that you've got 2 world-class goalkeepers, but the one that's just won a trophy recently is coming in to add that sort of mentality. Is a little bit in that, do you think, maybe? Or
yeah, I think it's clear that Tuchel's obviously favoured Mendy a little bit more in the bigger games when it comes down to, you know, like we've said, we've got 2 quality keepers, and Kepa's not really done anything to not be in this side. Like
it's fantastic in the semi-final.
Yeah, he was quality, and I was shocked as well. But at the same time, like Dan said on Wednesday, I trust in Tuchel's decision making, and I'm sure the fact that he came in, he had a good few training sessions. It's not like he was just rushed in. So it's not like we're wondering, is there something wrong with Kepa? It's just he preferred him for this game.
Absolutely right. Well, we know that the goalkeepers' union is very strong within the Chelsea family. So here is Edouard Mendy speaking about his goalkeeping compatriot.
Whilst you've been away, Kepa's obviously done very well. We now have 2 of the best goalkeepers in world football. How do you continue to get the very best out of each other and challenge each other in training?
I think, yes, Kepa did a fantastic job when I was in the Africa Cup. Even before, we all know how good he is, and this is why you play for Chelsea. You are the best player in every position, so you have to be ready. You have to fight for your place. And yes, obviously we work really well with also Marcus, who joined the team this year, and with the goalkeeper coach who is Hilario. Start to play, to score now, but and James Russell. I think it's a very good teamwork, and yes, the team is the most important.
The finals keep on coming, don't they? As you alluded to earlier, Club World Cup final. We've got the Carabao Cup final to look forward to. It's an exciting time, isn't it?
Yes, exciting time, and I think this is why everybody wants to play for Chelsea, because you could play this kind of game with the lot of adrenaline, and yes, you fight for a title. So it's an incredible month this February. So we have to be ready for the final on Saturday, and then we will be focused on the Premier League and the Carabao Cup.
Yeah, what a week it could be for Edu Mendy if he gets his hands on a second piece of silverware this evening. Right, let's do that second quiz question. Sam, I'm going to start with you. I'm going to move it down, change the goalpost a little bit. So, including today, nearest to the pin still, including today, how many games have we played this season?
That's a tough question. We've played at least 100, it seems now. I'm joking.
100? What?
No, I'm joking. Like 26.
Dan?
We're talking all competitions.
Yep.
40.
Pat?
Wait, have I gone a bit mad?
I'd go 33.
Sam, you've had a mare. We played 24 league games. Dan 40 on the nose, mate.
On the nose,
there you go. So it's 1-1 though. All 3 of you, 1 each.
Good.
Spot on. Good work.
26,
Sam,
you know.
you've let yourself down. You've let yourself down. That's fine. That's fine. You're good value, mate. You're part of what you do. Don't worry about that. Let's get some more social media reaction to the team this afternoon. News just in. Thomas Tuchel doesn't have the lucky shoes he wore during the Champions League final on, but I'm fairly certain that's the same jumper. I'm going with that now. I've not got any research, and again, Lee Parker's Wi-Fi is a bit dodgy today inside the stadium, so I'll try and find out, but I'm not sure how it's going to work. We'll carry on. Lauren, Libby and Elliot, have you got any superstitions that you do for the same games? You got anything, the same shirt you wore for the Champions League final, same shirts hung up? Lucky socks. Lucky socks. Is that a thing? Is that real?
Yeah, these are socks I wore in the Champions League final.
Excellent.
Good work.
Love it.
Good
Love
work. Any others? Any specific? Do you have a pre-match ritual? Do you watch the same build-up? Obviously, the fifth stand-up. Don't worry about that. Ignore that question. Do you have the same food beforehand? Anything like that?
No, I think we're normally, we'll do like a Chelsea playlist. We've got on Spotify, and it's got The Liquidator and Park Life and all sorts on there. We always play that, and I mean even before the Champions League final, we had that blaring from like 9 a.m. out the balcony. That's like the tradition, I think.
Love that, and also I've been informed that there's a Leicester away trip that we need to speak about.
But where I couldn't come on for the West Ham match day live because I couldn't talk for about 2 weeks after.
I mean, again, that's commitment to the cause, and we'll absolutely take it. So thank you for joining us now. Thank you for doing the rest in the week as well. I'm glad there wasn't a repeat of that one. Thank you very much. Half an hour gone, there's a substitute for Chelsea. Mason Mount is being replaced by Christian Pulisic. He looks obviously disappointed. Pat, do you think that's precautionary? Do you see anything?
Got an injury about 10 minutes ago. There was a tackle. He went over a little bit, and that's the second time he's went down. And it is one of them. You don't take a chance. And we were chatting beforehand about, it was an interview in some of the newspapers this morning and online with Mason Mount. I have to say, we're all impressed with him. Mm-hmm. But I'm even more impressed with him after listening to his attitudes towards football and life. What a top guy. So he's not coming off there unless there's something wrong. That's it. 100% doesn't do that unless he's really quite concerned. So that's a shame, but you need to move on, and not a bad substitute. I can see an American in the corner with a big cheesy grin on his face.
Terry, let's come to you then, because we have to talk about Christian Pulisic, but it's fair that we give you the first opportunity to speak about him. Big opportunity for Christian as well, because we all know how good he can be, but I suppose that the most frustrating part as a Chelsea fan, I'm sure Christian feels this as well, is the competition for places doesn't really allow players to have a run of games, does it?
No, you have to be on your top-notch game every single time out. And ironically, one of my friends who has on a Pulisic jersey just walked up and was like, "He's coming in the game," and started yelling. so it's a good time. I hope he shows well, and if Mason is out for any extended period, it's nice to have a player with his skill set, his abilities that can come in, give us the energy, give us the work rate, and hopefully produce at a high level for us.
Absolutely right, absolutely bang on. Just with all that, Sam, in terms of the energy and the output, there's something with Mason Mount that we get. His ability on the ball, his quality in every area is obvious. But with Christian Pulisic, you have that as well. You know that he's got the ability to kind of to play between the lines, but also the energy. That's a big thing that within this Chelsea squad that you need, and Christian Pulisic's got that in abundance.
He showed that in cup finals before. Sorry, Dan, don't do that. He showed that in cup finals before. He showed it in the Champions League final. He showed it in the FA Cup final when he before he got injured. And I think he's a man for the big moments. I saw an interview, him talking about when he plays for America, he genuinely puts that pressure on himself to perform and have that big moment. And I think today's going to be the exact same.
Completely right. Dan, just carrying on from that, because there is a lot of expectation, there's a lot of pressure on Christian Pulisic. Like we just said there, like we just spoke to Terran there, in terms of there's a lot of eyes watching him around the world expecting massive things. The level of pressure on Christian Pulisic is probably on par with no one else in the squad in terms of outside of the football club. But for him, you do feel that you just want him to get a run of games and be able to play, because we've just seen a little bit sort of example there of how good he is in tight spaces and quick on the ball, very quick feet. He's a difference maker.
Yeah, and when we bought him, it almost felt like we were buying somebody who can wriggle through these small places, these small... all the teams ended up having low blocks, very little space to run into, and you need someone who's nippy and is scary for a defender. And he is that, and he's shown it in spurts. You know, there's been times when
deep cross in, just
where he has been the player that has caused the opposition the most problems. You know, with he's so fast, and his 0 to 60 is so fast. But sometimes he's had injuries. You know, sometimes it's tough because with this squad, if you are injured or out, it's beautiful. If you're out for just a few,
Pulisic again. Just what you talk about there, Pulisic driving into space. Yeah.
You're out for a couple of games, and you have to really work hard to get yourself back into the squad, back into a starting 11. But Pulisic has come on. He's making an impact already, driving into the space. So.
He's a fantastic player, he really is. And just carrying on with Christian Pulisic, Pat, because I suppose there is an element, and you'll have felt this as well, but at Chelsea we've got such a rich history of players in the mould of Christian Pulisic. You know, and again, I don't want to embarrass you, but yourself, you talk about Eden Hazard as well, players with a low centre of gravity, good on the ball, can play either side, can play with both feet. There's such pressure on a player of his ability to replicate it straight away, but he's younger than Mason Mount is, isn't he? That's correct, isn't it?
The expectation is very young on a young man, especially coming into a world-class team, and we are a world-class team who have a whole bunch of world-class type players in that sort of position. But he just actually did something interesting. You were talking about his skill set. Can I get that sentence out? Do you know why I can't? I was just about to say, do you know what? They didn't foul him there. I didn't get a sentence out, did I?
And then
they gave him one right and took him out. But that's the thing about him. The first time he took the ball, he got past and he did his trick that you're talking about and got away. And I thought, wait a minute, maybe they're not going to foul him. And then they foul him. But the positive side of that is, see when you're going to get fouled, make sure if you're that type of player you're talking about, A, you're on the move, because the guy will probably get booked, and B, you're right in the last third. Preferably within shooting range. That's the big thing to remember. Remember Eden at his best, he was always like that. He was moving. See when he got loads of fouls against him, he was static. He used to get a bit annoyed. But see when you're moving and you're in the last third, absolutely unstoppable. Hence, free kick time.
Free kick in a very good... This would almost be sort of the opposite side, but Marcos Alonso territory, if you're trying to picture where it is at the moment. Let's get some more reaction then from the social media this afternoon. Again, keep your tweets coming in if you do want to get involved in the show this afternoon. Chelsea, it's just over the bar from Christian Pulisic. Got it for Mount, but this is a big opportunity for Pulisic. He needs to take his chance from Max. I mean, he's got a profile picture of Mason Mount there, so I know that he's definitely on board. This is a big chance for Pulisic. He's got a shot here to gain some confidence back. You mentioned earlier about the fact that he's so important to the American national team as well. You know, he's obviously come back off a good period for him, but again, they're chasing Canada. They've got a lot of work to do still in that. Similar in the way that Chelsea have got a bit of ground to make up with Liverpool and Manchester City in the sort of Premier League. So the fact that he's in a final this afternoon, the fact that there's a cup final in a couple of weeks to add sort of more and more silverware to his trophy cabinet, he'll feel it as much as anyone else. But as a leader, I suppose you take trophies on in a little bit of a different way. You take that responsibility on more, don't you?
Yeah, and I think you could see the way he played in that Arsenal final. He kind of wanted to be the main man, to be driving at the defence, and even with the few minutes that we've seen him on now, he's not been shy of...
Great ball in from Christensen on the right-hand side, yeah. It's a foul, but Kovacic has had a 30-yarder.
Yeah, he's not been shy to get on the ball. He wants to get involved, and like you said, there's so many players that in his position, and he's been unfortunate with the injuries that he's had, not really had a run of games, and I'm sure that he would love to get it back into, you know, the front three and really like make an impact. And I think today would be a perfect time to say that this is like, I'm here and I'm here to stay.
And also, Dan, you know, we don't know how long Mason Mount or the extent of Mason's injury. It could be purely precautionary. You know, it could be just a case of don't want to risk him. We've got a big league game next Saturday against Crystal Palace. Let's not risk him about anything at the moment. But if you're given the nod to come on ahead of Timo Werner, ahead of Callum moving into a 10 and bringing Marcos Alonso on, Ziyech as well, who's been brilliant recently. I suppose there is a little bit of that. That gives you a bit more confidence because the quality that's on the bench beside you, if you're getting the nods, that's going to make you feel. It's going to make you feel ready.
Of course, you're a world-class player amongst other world-class players, and you are next up. He's got something that the rest don't have as well, which is real tight, pacey dribbling. You've got Ziyech, who is, you know, he's got a wonderful left foot and he can trick his way into anywhere. Then you've got Werner, who is slightly more direct, raw pace. Pulisic kind of marries a little bit of the two together. And I think he's vital for any team, if I'm honest. I think when he's on top of his game, he'll probably get into any team in the world. It's just about finding that level of consistency. And being able to put a run of games together where you are, you know, being brave and he's come on. He's had a good start, if you ask me. You know, he's had a lot of action in that last 5 minutes that he's been on. So, it's a good start.
Completely right. Yeah, he's playing in that favoured sort of 10 position today. Callum Hudson-Odoi is another player that's tried to do that. He's playing left wing back this afternoon, but he's very important to us. Here is Callum's walk and talk.
I think yesterday's a bit like with a breeze. You know, like we're in a hot country and there was a breeze. Like didn't expect.
It was nice.
No, it wasn't. I'll be honest. When it's like that, it's freezing. It's absolutely cold.
Freezing? It's like 25 degrees.
I see yesterday people taking off their tops and stuff. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, what is going on? It's not that hot. Like, no, today's nice.
How are you finding the whole trip so far?
Oh, it's amazing, man. It's amazing. The hotel's nice. The people here are nice. So, right now we're enjoying it. We just won our first game. We've got a big final on Saturday, so right now we're just hoping and praying for the trophy, mate. And that is it. How are you enjoying it?
Too hot for me, mate.
Too hot?
Too hot for me.
What?
Back to 50.
Mate.
Hudson-Odoi, incredible footballer and a decent weatherman as well, by the sounds of it. He's loving talking about the weather out there at the moment, isn't he? Just on Callum though, Pat, because he's another player that's been utilised in a number of different positions this season. We've seen his quality, we've seen his ability, and he's already having quite an impact today. He's just had to do the dirty work that perhaps we don't see from players of his sort, really, in terms of attacking players. But he wants to get back in when he plays that left wing back role.
He does, and to be fair, he'd rather be playing in one of those 10 roles, as just about every single player wants to play there. But, you know, we've got injuries, you know, and with Chile not being there, and Marcus can't play every single game at that sort of rate. He's been asked to do a job, but he'll be asked to get back when you need to get back in that left wing back area. But in reality, see if you can pin that guy back and stay as far up as possible. Do that. And he's done a job, and he's still going past players. But he must be looking in field thinking, I wish I was in there. It's a bit easier like in there. And you get more ball. You can be in the best form in the world out there in the wide area. If you're not getting enough ball or it's all going down the right, it can be a little bit frustrating. But so far he's looked lively. And certainly they have done nothing coming down our right. So that, the ugly stuff, he's done that brilliantly.
Oh, completely. And this actually shows how impactful Callum Hudson-Odoi can be for Chelsea. Callum Hudson-Odoi has created more chances from open play than any other player in the English Premier League. Thank you. That is a staggering statistic for a player that we know has a huge amount of ability. And Jonathan, he's one of those players, Callum Hudson-Odoi, isn't he, that you're always impressed with certain elements of his game, and then there's other elements of his game that I think he gets a bad rap for. But like Pat was just saying there, when you actually dig down and look into it, he does everything well and he works so hard for the team.
I think for Callum Hudson-Odoi, I think he's a very good player, but we can't nail him a regular position in a position because he seems to be quite good at what he does, but we need to play him regularly in a standard position for him to find a consistency in order to show us what he can really do.
Yeah, you're completely right. I think every Premier League player, every football player wants consistency, wants a run of games, don't they? And just kind of to maintain, they know where they are in the. They're
creatures, 19 of them.
They're creatures of habit, aren't they, footballers, Pat? They are.
Yeah, everybody wants it. I mean, if there was, again, go back to what Mason was saying before. He gives the managers the kind of evil eyes. When he's not starting, he's giving it right bearing into them eyes. And
did you do that? You didn't play. You didn't spend much time on the bench. To be fair,
on the bench. To be fair, international games. My methodology was. This is why I liked what he said. If I wasn't starting a game, an international game, I warmed up from 1 minute one, and just kept on going. Oh, by the way, there's a bit of a chance we need to.
Well, defending.
It was always going to do it. See, the problem that I think they've got against us. I don't think they've got anywhere close to the pace to get away from us up front, really. You know, because I mean, Christensen's is lightning quick. I think he's actually one of these guys that's getting quicker as he gets older. And we know Rudiger's stupidly quick. And you never find out how quick Thiago Silva is because he's too intelligent in the play to let anyone away from them. But no, go back to your original point now. The amount of players that do need a lot of games, but it's so hard. We have got just about 22 players, haven't we?
Yeah,
22
right.
players that really all want a game every single week.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Absolutely right. Right, let's go on to our next quiz question then. Dan, you get first view at this. So, nearest to the pin still. How many goals have we scored this season? All competitions.
Oh.
This is where you're at a disadvantage for going first, really, this one.
Yeah, I'm going third this one.
70.
70. Pat, no, it's you next, Pat.
80.
Oh, that's a lot of goals. I'm up.
Remember, we played 24 league games, Sam.
Yeah.
We're definitely double digits.
65.
Pat, you're closest. You get the point. 77. It's good,
Come on,
isn't it?
do the words. 40 games. You gave him the hint. 40
Yeah.
games. We must be roughly 2 a game.
Yeah,
surely.
It's true, actually, yeah.
I'm moving
that's not
off
bad.
right now.
That's not bad, actually, considering, it's roughly 2 a game.
Yeah.
We've got about a minute or so left until half-time. Still Chelsea 0, Palmeiras 0. They've been... It's a good game, though, Sam, isn't it? It's a very tactical game. It feels like a knockout Champions League game, doesn't it? That's the kind of level or the feeling it's got around. It's very tactical. There's little minor details between the two.
Yeah, they're defending really well. They're defending as a unit. They're not really doing that much going forward. Like Pat said, when they get in and around our final third, they run out of ideas because our defenders are so good. But I think it's just those moments. The longer the game goes on, they're going to believe that they've got a chance in this game. So I really do want to see a goal. If we get a goal in the next 3 minutes, that would be great. But yeah, we need to score first to kind of, because they're genuinely defending really well as a team.
I think you're bang on. It does feel like one of them games, Dan, like Sam was saying, that the first goal is so big, because if they get a goal on the counter-attack, they very much feel like a team that can just sit in, frustrate, and will do everything to maintain a 1-0 lead. Whereas if Chelsea get it, you feel it could go the other way and it could open up to be more like a basketball game and end-to-end and really open.
Yeah, it looks to me like they are just looking to stay in the game for now. I would like to see the possession stats, but it looks like we are in control. We seem to be creeping further and further forward.
Worse. That's Thiago Silva, about 35 yards. It's opened up for him and he just absolutely drilled it.
But
what a strike.
We are creeping, you know. Around 20 minutes ago, our backline wasn't starting in their half. We are pinning them back, and they are just trying to hit us on a break. We are playing like a home team, if you like, and they're just trying to nick something from us. So it feels like we are beginning to turn the screw.
I'm excited about one player more than any other player on our team. Watching this 45 minutes, it's maybe my favourite 45 I've seen from Lukaku. Maybe my favourite. He is chased, he's looked sharp, he's looked lively. He's been absolutely... He just needs a goal now. He really just needs a goal now. And there's been games when he scored the goal for us, and you've thought, yeah, but, you're still not quite your old self. Looking at him today, I think it looks really sharp. Really good.
He's also, at the moment, joint top goal scorer in this competition's history for Chelsea. He's only got one, but we've only played it twice, so it's Juan Mata and Fernando Torres are the other ones on one. So there's a little bit in that as well, Pat, because he's a goal scorer and he'll want that title, won't he?
But also, we're talking about that. Yes, he wants that. The goal scorers also have to get the numbers, but goal scorers nowadays have to be a goal scorer and you have to be a team player. And the moment he's both of them things for us, he's the player we've been waiting for. But you need to be both of those things if you're going to do it at Chelsea at the top level. And over the years, we've had great players that have done that, like Didier, etc. Watching him tonight, yeah, happy with that.
Yeah.
Very happy with that.
He has fancied it quite clearly first half, hasn't he? And again, could be one final chance in the first half. It's a corner to Chelsea at the moment. It's a lovely attempted free ball from Kai Havertz. But we say that, like we said earlier, about dropping into those positions, and when you've got the space is so congested in the final third. If you've got Thiago Silva that's going to try his hand from 35 yards, he's clearly been speaking to Antonio Rudiger and seeing that this is what we do as centre-halves at Chelsea.
Yeah, you can tell that that's the thing. I like our defenders. They like to get involved, and obviously the way Palmeiras are defending, they're giving the defenders more licence to kind of be in those areas, and their decision-making has been quite...
It's a really deep corner from headed over, but really.
And it's Rudiger on the end of it. They want to get involved and they don't want to just sit back. And it's nice to see that our defenders can also have that side to their game.
Completely. And Dan, there is a little bit of that, isn't there? Especially in a final, you are looking for those small differences and magical things happen in cup finals. Tielemans ripped one in the top corner in the FA Cup final last year when space like that opens up similar sort of distance into Thiago Silva. So you are looking for something different in a cup final. Yeah,
cup finals, you'll usually find magic or a mistake. You know, the games are that tense. They usually are 0-0 at half-time because there's just so much on the line. No one wants to make any actual, give any possession away, give any ascendancy to the opposition. So yeah, I'm hoping it is a screamer. I would love for it to be a 35-yarder from Thiago Silva, top bins against Palmeiras to win this cup. But I would take anything at this point. Anything.
Absolutely right. Yeah, 0-0 at half-time. The half-time whistle has just gone, so the players retreating to the dressing room. Jonathan, what have you made of the first 45 minutes then, mate?
So for this half-time, I think that it is we are dominating the game. We have control possession, but again, we don't have the movement in the final third. We need to work more on it. I think we need to supply Lukaku with more of the ball. I don't think he has touched the ball that often in this game. So it will be a second half. We have some things to think about in order to create the first goal.
Terran, there's obviously a lot more football still to be played in this. Chelsea have had a lion's share of possession in the first half. Do you think it's going to be one of those afternoons where, as we've seen in the first half, maybe it's a little bit more of a patient approach and we do need to bide our time?
Absolutely. That's going to end up being another 1-0 victory for us, those games that you guys hate.
I don't want to hear that, Terran. I don't want to hear that. But I think you may be right on this account, mate. But Chelsea have looked good for it, haven't they?
Absolutely. I like the way that we dominated. I know that you guys said they had a few chances. I was a little delayed, so I saw a couple from Dudu, I think his name is, for them that I was worried about. But I think someone said that if we could stop that counter press or that counter attack from them, we'll be in good shape. So I'm hoping we can continue to do that into the second half, and hopefully the different structure from there be good.
Absolutely right. I think Terran's Wi-Fi has been seeing the Palmeiras approach there by slowing things down, but I'll rate it. It's fine. It's absolutely fine. No problem. Lauren Louis Elliott, what have you made of the first half then? Again, like you're saying to Terran there, Chelsea been in command, in control. It's okay. We've been in this situation before. We're all right.
Yeah, the only thing that worries me is a lot of the time we kind of leave it until the last 10 minutes and we properly throw everything at them, and then it's like almost too late. So I really do hope that we do get that goal early in the second half so that we're not, all sat here biting our nails for the last 10.
Oh, trust me, being sat this close to Dan in a 0-0 game like this is... It's not an encouraging experience, so I completely agree with you, Soon. We're hoping for an early goal in the second half. What have you made of then? Where do you think the difference will come? As you say, you said Kai Havertz earlier on. He's played a big part in the first half. Is there anyone else that's taken your eye?
I've been really impressed since Pulisic came on. I think he's managed to open them up quite a few times. He's brought a little bit of spark, a little bit of a difference. So yeah, I think that was an interesting change, and I didn't expect it, but I think it's really paid off, and I've been really impressed.
Completely right. He gets all them right, doesn't he, Thomas Tuchel? He always gets them right, doesn't he? Right then, so last night in the WSL, a massive game at the top of the table as Chelsea hosted Arsenal. Here are the highlights.
Corner's cut back to Catley. Berg attempted to come for the cross. It's broken for Miedemar, and she's cracked it against the post. Arsenal that close to going in front. Well worked set piece. Miedemar all alone just for a second. Turned over pretty cheaply. Here's Miedemar in a pocket of space. Maxtenius in the middle. Cross too close to Berger. He got it at the second go. Carter swept it forward first time. A lovely turn from Erin Cuthbert. Here's Kirby. Chelsea building ahead of steam now. Pressing toward Harder. Broken for Kerr. What a block that was. For all the world as though Sam Kerr was going to put Chelsea in front. Steph Catley had other ideas. Cuthbert with the corner then. Anderson on the edge of the box, everyone else in it. All the way as far as Anderson. Oh, and the deflection took it just wide. Without it, it might have nestled in Zinsberger's net. Harder onside. Kerr in the middle. Can she get the crossover? She can! Oh, and Kerr's missed it. Kirby maybe. Another good block. Tyson trying to keep it alive. Excellent work this from Pernille Harder. Now Kerr doesn't have much, if anything, in the way of support at the moment. Now friends are arriving. Only Fran Kirby. Here's Kerr again. Harder wants it in the middle. Never away's only as far as G. Zinsberger spilt it, and Arsenal making a mess of getting rid of it. Harder, can she keep it alive? Eventually played off Brighton. Not pretty, but just about effective from Arsenal. It's awkward for Berger, headed off the line, and then again by Bright. Still it's not clear, and the shot deflects behind for a corner. Some sensational defending from Chelsea here. Harder with one header, and then look at this from Millie Bright. Again, right underneath Berger. Again, Bright was there. Miedemar on the follow-up. Chelsea desperately trying to get it clear. Millie Bright, the hero again. Another goal line clearance from the captain. 8 minutes of stoppage time was signalled, and they are nearly up. Here's Harder. One last chance, maybe. Need Charles. It's a good tackle, but Charles is there again. Now, did that strike the arm of Williamson? The referee says no. Chelsea wants a penalty. Well, let's have another look. Great work from Charles. Oh, that should be a penalty. Chelsea with reason to feel aggrieved here.
I mean, we have to go straight back to the Zoom wall because, Lauren, you've added a substitute at half-time.
Yeah, he's singing, "Oh, Thiago Silva."
What's your name, mate? Do you want to get involved? Awesome, fantastic. Wait, hopefully you're going to stay with us and be our lucky charm in the second half, yeah? Oh dear. I've had a shock in it. This isn't a good reflect. This isn't going on the show reel, is it? I have to apologise, Lauren. I'm very sorry.
That's pressure.
Is that Kanté on the back of the
yeah. I think so. Yeah.
Slightly he's slightly taller than Go.
Let's go to the WSL game then. Obviously 0-0 last night. I mean, I'm still fuming over that handball right at the end, Dan. I'm absolutely livid that that's not given.
What have you got to do? I mean, how far away from your body? How much more of an unnatural position do you have to be in to be awarded a penalty? You know my thoughts on referees, Joe. Like, some of them are just not good enough. How do you miss these kind of decisions? But yeah, it's definitely felt like 2 points dropped.
And there's another part of it. You know, we are obviously chasing Arsenal in the WSL. I think we've still got a game in hand, so it's still well within our grasp. But they've fallen off a little bit, Sam. So it's an opportunity last night. A bit of a disappointing one because, as Dan's pointing out there, it's a Stonewall penalty, and that late in the game it changes everything. Yeah,
those big moments you're going to look back on at the end of the season. Hopefully not in regret, but to say we could have picked up a few points there. But I think you could kind of see the momentum has shifted in a sense to Chelsea, and like you said, we should have won that game. We've got another opportunity to beat them in a few weeks, so hopefully we get the win there.
Yeah, absolutely right. This tweet sums it up brilliantly. In fact, unbeaten in 2022. It's exactly it, Pat. We've got, like Sam said, we've got them in the Conti Cup, and we've got the Conti Cup final in a couple of weeks, which is obviously another big deal, a really big opportunity for us to add another piece of silverware. And even after the game last night, I enjoyed the honesty of Emma Hayes talking about the fact that there's still football to play. It's not panic. Yeah. We go again.
To be honest, the best thing about it, and I've been a fanatic of women's football before it was stylish, we've got good teams now. You know, the WSL is a good league now. There was a long time where it was, you know, one team was so far ahead of the others. And I know we'd like us to be 10, 12 points ahead. It'd be really nice. But do you know what? For the women's game, we need the battle. We need Arsenal up there. We do need Man City. And they're a very, very good team. We need ourselves up there as well. We need us to be a team that's challenging for the Champions League trophy, which obviously we were very recently. So, you know, it's a small thing, and I'd love us to have won it. And yes, it's a penalty. By the way, you've not been reading new rules. The referee's new rules about the penalty. They can do what they like, apparently. You make up as you go along. Right? It's kind of beyond me, that one. Really, I'm with a lot of you in that one. But I'm just really delighted. She's done an absolutely phenomenal job. Problem is with Emma, because she's so highly rated, the team's such a good team, we've got such fantastic depth, everyone expects us to cruise it. Well, we can't cruise it because it's a good league.
I completely agree. Look, when you look at the Barcelona women's side that beat teams 8-9-0 every single week, they're phenomenal. But like you said, the WSL sides are going to have a sort of longevity that are going to get to that point because it's a more competitive league, like we see in Champions League nowadays, where the British team is doing so well because of that competitive element domestically. Right, let's do another quiz question then, shall we? Okay, so Pat, you're back at the start now, so this is you up first.
And ahead, I believe.
You are, mate. You are indeed. You're absolutely right. You're good, Sam. You're still on one. You're fine. You're still in the hunt. You're still in the hunt. Right. So, Pat, what is our goal difference in the Premier League?
Plus 50.
Sam?
Can you come back to me?
No.
I give you a top of the head one. I give you a top of the head one.
Plus 19.
Dan?
Plus 18.
Sam, you get the point. Plus 30.
Wow, that's big.
That's really good.
Do you know, this is the thing, though. This is the thing, though, because we beat Norwich 7-0. And we've not really, even the games that we've dropped points on, it's been a 1-0. It's been a 1-0. So we're kind of still adding to that goal difference. So it's been a good start. And again, obviously, massive game against Crystal Palace coming up this week. We'll talk about it a little bit more later on, but as it's half-time, 0-0, Chelsea Palmeiras in the Club World Cup final. We'll have a quick mention about that. Back to league matters. It feels like ages since we played a Premier League game, Sam.
Yeah, it does. And I think we've been quite fortunate to see the teams in and around us just dropping points week on week. So I think now we go back to the Premier League action. I think Crystal Palace, they've been a bit up and down, but we know how the Premier League is. They're going to give their all when they face us. And I think if we maintain the energy and the outlook that we've had on the majority of the games that we played this season, and I'm sure we'll get the win.
Absolutely right. Yeah, big league game coming up next Saturday right here on Matchday Live. Of course, we'll be back for that. This morning there was a big league game in the under-18s as Ben Andrews talks us through.
It's a good corner and it's a good header too. Gerardo off the crossbar.
Get it, Brody. Switch on. Go higher. Go on.
Hughes under a bit of pressure. And Webster under a lot of pressure. He's lost it to Oyedele. This is Garnacho. Oh, it's off the post. And so's the rebound from Manny Norkit, and Chelsea get away with it. See that wind moving the ball even under control there, and it's not much of a clearance into the gale. As Mainu comes in, Webster tried to challenge him. Problems here. Opening goal. Garnacho scored now. The only surprise is how long it's taken to come. Didn't get hold of it. Not a clean connection. And Chelsea never recovered. This open game has its opening goal. Still got Dubry. Back to Charlie Webster here. Oh, that's a great ball in. Oh, what a save. Worcester denies Soon-Sup Bell. Man U keeper's first stop is a big one. Great chance. It's an awkward ball forward. Oh, Echekoka's come. He didn't get there. It's going to be a penalty. I think it had to be. That's not even 20 seconds into the second half. Disastrous start potentially here. Echekoka caught short by the wind as much as anything. Having won the penalty, Norkit is going to take it. And he scored it. It's 2-0. Chelsea are going to need another brilliant cup comeback here. Billy G stepping up. Now, Ronnie Stutter, who's been quiet, but he's found a bit of room here. Ronnie Stutter's found the corner. Game on. And a great moment for him. Banging the goals in to start the season before injury laid him off. Webster didn't get much of it, but Hall has managed to move it on here to Soon-Sup Bell. Mothersill pointing to where he wants it. It's a chance. It's an equalising goal from the under-18's top scorer. Not just another goal, but another big one from Malik Mothersill. 2-2, 15 for the season. He's been a real danger all game long. Now there's space for Stutter here from Dylan Williams' ball. Soon's up Bell. And Silko Thomas, 3-2! Another brilliant Chelsea cap comeback. Off the bench and onto the score sheet, it's Silko Thomas. And the Blues lead this quarter-final 3-2. Chelsea almost into the last 4. Can they hold on? Is it to be yet another 3-2? That's a dangerous ball. Amari Force, a great touch! What an opportunity in stoppage time to give us another 30 minutes. But wide it goes, and 3-2, it stays.
Yes, the semi-final place booked for Chelsea in the FA Premier League Youth Cup, which kicked off in the second half, which is why Dan's getting excited, so we've got a break on for Chelsea there, but Palmeiras have dealt with it well. Chelsea started fairly well in the second half, no changes at half-time either. As expected, Pat, you wouldn't expect any changes just yet, would you?
No, you find out how the game goes in the second half. Remember, we faded in the second half in the semi-final here, so I think the gaffer will want to have a look and see how everyone looks, make sure everyone's lively and sharp in the second half before he makes those decisions. But I mean, as everyone was saying, everyone was saying the same thing. We had 70% possession in the first half. You know, not doing a whole bunch of things wrong at the moment. You're just hoping that eventually leads to the avalanche that we can get through. At the moment, limited amount of chances, but we are the better team, but they're not hopeless.
No.
They're a decent side, and it's going to be hard to break them down.
Absolutely. We spoke earlier about how important and how serious this is taken in Brazil. I mean, very much so. I'm assuming it wouldn't be too dissimilar in England, but this is a wonderful thing that the Brazilian fans have started to tweet about. Brazil is blue and white. So what's happened, if you haven't seen this on social media this morning, quite a lot of the Brazilian fan clubs for the other clubs in Brazil, Palmeiras' rivals, have changed their badges and their logos for today to blue and white to be supporting Chelsea. It's a little bit of a polite rivalry, shall we call it? And let's have it absolutely right, Sam. If there was another English team in the final, when Liverpool were in the final a couple of years ago, none of us would decorate our house red and white for the afternoon. Well, I mean, that's football.
Yeah, you'd expect that, to be honest. And like you said, when Liverpool were in it, I'm not going to say that I was... Okay, I'm going to be honest, I didn't want him to win, but they did. And I think that you can tell that the passion in Brazil, it's like you get one up on your opponent. If they are to win this is giving them bragging rights. So I can understand why Brazil is blue and white.
I've never been to Brazil, Dan, but I do love the fact that how passionate they are about football over there, and I think you've seen that from the fans that have travelled. There's a lot of what's a strike there's from Rudiger, by the way. Trademark Antonio Rudiger, about 45 yards out. He's gone, I'll have a pop, why not? And it's close. He's getting closer. He definitely is getting closer. But just on something, I've never been to Brazil, but I love the fact that there is that sort of passion about it. In a game like today, the amount of Palmeiras fans that are inside, I mean, the whole of one side is green and white, and it's a journey to make to get there.
I have been to Brazil, and I remember, you know when you come and land into Heathrow, you see farms and a lot of greenery. As I was landing in Brazil, I just saw football pitch after football pitch after football pitch after football pitch. Football is a religion over there. It really is. It is a source of happiness. It's just what they do. And they're so passionate about it. And because of it, the fans are crazy. Even in their lower divisions, you go to the stadiums, and it's a packed stadium every single time. Football is their thing, I know it's synonymous with football. Brazil, you hear it actually feels right, when Brazil and football are kind of put together. But it really is like they care about it more than anything.
It's amazing. Pat, I'm assuming you've been...
we're there for the World Cup, and my favourite moment, while I was there, I was doing stuff for Chelsea TV as it was back then, and I was sending back little podcasty things, right? And so I had my laptop up, and I was at Fortaleza. Brazil were due to kick off in about an hour's time. So I was standing talking to camera, and the camera just sees me, right? And I'm saying, I'm in here, Fortaleza, I'm in the most important street, I'm in the biggest street in Fortaleza, and it's actually 3 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon. And I lift the camera up, and there's not a human being. There's not a car. If Brazil are an hour away from playing, the place is deserted. It's like, honest, everybody's in the bars, everyone's at home. And it's like Oxford Circus, 3 o'clock Saturday afternoon, nobody. And I've never seen anything like it. And I mean, any other day of the year, I'd have been knocked down by 17 trucks. But honestly, it's amazing. They are
mad.
Totally and utterly and completely besotted and in love with the game. And it's, by the way, it is a fabulous country. I loved every minute of my time there.
I've changed my mind. I might go straight to penalties this afternoon, but I'd quite like a draw and a replay so we can all go. Trivago, if you're watching, sort us out. We get a little studio knocked up over there for the second leg. But they've started well in the second half, Chelsea, Sam. A couple of chances to starting to appear a little bit more, and you do feel that this could be the narrative of the second half, waiting for those openings and perhaps being a little bit more sort of pensive on the ball and waiting for things to happen, because they are very well disciplined and very well structured, Palmeiras, aren't they?
Yeah, and I like the approach that we've had. We've been quite patient, but obviously it's the second half, and like you said, it goes straight to pen, so there's a bit more of an urgency to get the ball forward and to take your player on, and I think that's what's needed. We've also got quite a few people on the bench that could come on and make a difference, so the players in the front three probably know that Tuchel's looking at what he can change, and if there's not a goal in the next 10 minutes, then he'll probably be making changes.
Yeah, completely right. I think that's definitely something to look for. We're 51 minutes into the game now, so yeah, that could be happening. Hello to the Phillies Blues fan club as well. This is amazing. Look at that. They've got a Champions League trophy in the background there as well. I'm eyeing that up. Hello, Champions of Europe signs. It looks like what a lovely little pub that is. Oh, I'm all about that. Yeah, good work. Thank you very much. Hopefully we'll have another one to add alongside that. Something we've not had before to add alongside that Champions League trophy in not too long. It does feel. There's a little bit of a nervous energy I'm getting as well, Pat, from it, because it is a new, it's a new scenario for us all to be in, and again we've drummed it up correctly, but this is a trophy that Chelsea haven't won, and we don't really find ourselves in that situation much.
No, and it's tough, but I'm trying to, and I can't, but I'm trying to look at it slightly dispassionately. As a football match, we don't look in any danger whatsoever.
No.
We really don't. They've hardly got out of our pitch. And yes, they're going to play in the break, and they might get the odd chance, and they could win by a breakaway goal. But we've dominated this, and we've looked unbelievably comfortable. And I have to say I'm surprised at that. I thought we would get a lot more problems, certainly from them breaking on us and maybe having control of the ball for a wee while. I'm ready to try to work out, if we do win this, what the song goes like, because, Champions of Europe, we know that song goes like, but what, Champions of the World, Champions of the World? We'll wait until we actually win it before.
We'll work on that. We'll work on that. Jonathan, like Pat was saying there, we don't really look in any danger, do we? I suppose there is an element of, like we've been saying from the start of the game, being patient and knowing that eventually our quality should see us through.
It's a tough game though. I would believe that we are, on paper, we are the strongest side, and on the bench we have players like Timo Werner, we have players like Ziyech who can come in and really make a difference. But we shall see. We are attacking them well, and hopefully we can get a goal for our effort.
Definitely right. And yeah, Terran, just carrying on from that, it does feel like a goal is coming. I'm not sure where from though, because at the moment, every time Antonio Rudiger gets the ball, I am expecting one of those to hit the top corner at some point.
Come on!
There the goal is. You'll see that in a second.
Let's go!
It's a wonderful header from Romelu Lukaku. There we go. We're seeing the staggered approach. It's a great header from Lukaku. Terran, I'll let you watch that. I'll come back to you once you've seen that, and I'll go to Lauren and the team, because what a header that is from Romelu Lukaku. Oh, can we hear you? Lauren, can we get you? Can we hear you? Is again the excitement. Great header.
We've got a slight delay on you guys as well, so I don't know why Channel 4 is a little bit behind, but we heard you guys celebrating just as Callum's about to cross it, so we were like, oh no, and then great header though. But finally, a good cross that's actually in the good area. So.
Fantastic, yeah. Really good work. Yeah, really good work down the left-hand side from Callum Hudson-Odoi. Dan hangs the ball up, and that's exactly what you want from Lukaku. Gets half a sniff, bullies a defender, powerful header.
Yeah, that's his trademark. Like that. Balls in the box. That is where Lukaku comes alive. We know what the other things he can do. He can be a pin, and he can do other things, but where he is really going to cause all the issues for the opposition, and where he's going to get his bread and butter is going to be balls into the box. and him, you know, getting on the end of it, and that was one of the first balls into a very good area. Here's another one, or not into just commentator's curse. But yeah, this is, you know, you give him deliveries like that, and he'll get you 20 goals a season.
Absolutely right. Terran, just on that, I mean, I think the combined distance of those 2 goals from Romelu Lukaku in both games has been about 6 yards, which is exactly what you want from a centre forward, really, isn't it? And the fact that to be there and to turn the ball over and be that difference maker for us.
Yes, absolutely. I love a poacher goal scorer, and this is awesome to have him head that in right then. I'm sorry, I was so reacting to that, but Bar just went crazy behind me, and it's so going crazy.
No, fantastic, mate. That's what you're about. I absolutely love that. And Pat, like Sam said earlier, and like Dan's mentioned there, when you get Callum in that advanced area, that quality to be able to hang the ball up, like we saw the stat earlier that sort of backed that up as well.
They've not pushed Callum back at all. So basically, he's done that job, right? So if you get a job, you've done part of it. The next part of it to be positive going forward. I said to you at half-time, and it sounds like hyperbole. It's not. This has been my favourite game that Romelu Lukaku's had.
It's a strike just wide from Christian Pulisic on his left-hand side.
And who lays the ball onto him? It's a brilliant layoff by Romelu Lukaku. And do you know what? He scored a goal now, right? I said all he needs now is a goal. Right, he scored a goal now. It's not just that. His link-up play, that's been good as well. It's not just that. His energy levels are easily the best I've seen. Easily the best I've seen. And it's really exciting to see that from the big man. Because if he does that, buys into all that sort of stuff, suddenly we've got the player that we were all really hoping for at the start. He wants another one, doesn't he?
He does.
You can tell him he wants another one. If a manager puts his number up, I suspect he might do a Kepa.
just on that, Sam, because there's a chance now that they're in on goal. It's a good save by Edouard Mendy. Just on that, because you know we mentioned earlier, sort of jokingly, but it's factually he's our highest goal scorer in this competition now. You know, and again at the end of it, you get a gold plaque on your shirt that says you're the best team in the world, best club side in the world. To have, again, another goal in a final on his record, as a centre-forward, that's what you want. As a striker, that's what you want. And as Chelsea fans, that's what you want to see, because you want him scoring in big games.
And this is a huge moment for him. I think he's felt a lot of pressure, obviously. He's had an up-and-down season, probably not the amount of goals that he would have expected himself to have scored this season, but these moments here, it's like you said, when we look back and hopefully the result either stays this way or we get more, when he looks back on it, he can say that he was a part of something huge in Chelsea history, and that's big for him because like he said when he came back, he wants to be an icon here, he wants to be a legend here, and this is where it starts. Completely right.
Here's a really cool tweet actually about the opening goal. Cross the ball and that happened. Simple. Come on, Chelsea. It's true though, isn't it, Dan, that he gives us a different dimension. We speak about that. You know, he when he came back, he said he's a more complete footballer and he's got all these different facets to his game, and he's got that ability to bring other players in. He can score all types of goals, but he also gives you the fact that he is strong in the air. He's 6 foot plus, and if he's in there, he's a problem for them to worry about. So you can, if it's not on, if they're defending very well, if we're 50 odd minutes into the game and not had a huge amount of chances, you can hang the ball up and know that he's going to make something.
Exactly, you know, and that's what you want. We can always get to a certain position on the pitch as Chelsea, and then there seems to be sometimes a bit of a glass ceiling where, you know, they've got such a deep block that we can't put anything in that's not a risk. Whereas if you just put something in a blender and you've got Lukaku in there, his physicality has to be 99. It really does, you know. They will be worried about where he's coming from, and he's got that knack to get in front of the defender as well, or to hang off and send the defender running towards the ball and then just get on the other side like he did for the goal. But when you've got somebody who is that good in that aerially, I don't think you should be ashamed to put the ball in the box. You know, obviously you don't want to do it every time, but when you've got a striker in there that can do that, that's what you should be doing.
Watch them there. Look at him.
Pressing really hard,
Pressing. You know, and we're talking 60 minutes in now, and he's getting high pressing. And you talk about people like Ronaldo don't do that anymore. The way we play, we need that. And to see the big man do that is fantastic. By the way, there was another game, talk about a different World Cup. You remember the Russian World Cup? I remember being over and I was doing Belgium for that. And one game, either quarter or semi, the big man, he was unplayable. You could not play him. he was absolutely astonishing. And world class without even a shadow of a doubt. The next game, he couldn't replicate it. That's the difficulty, isn't it? Replicating it at that.
Yeah.
And it may well be that Thomas has to look at him and say, right, OK, do that for 70, 80. Actually, you might not be able to do it at the start next week, you know, for Wednesday to Saturday. But then you can do it the week after that. Oh, they've got a chance.
Oh. Good save by Mendy.
That was a chance, though.
Yeah, it was a chance. It was a real chance. And they're appealing for something. The Palmeiras bench are looking for something. They want handball, I think, by the way, that one of their players is reacting. I'm not quite sure who
I think the
but
keeper's allowed to handle it.
We'll
see.
They're
going to look at it.
They're going to go and have a look. So while they're doing that, we'll do the quiz question, all right? So while they're doing that, there's a slight break in play while he has a little look for something. Sam, how many total goals have we conceded this season?
30.
Dan, how many total goals have we conceded this season? I think it's probably going to be a penalty, actually, against Thiago Silva.
But it's...
I think it's probably going to be a penalty. Dan?
40.
Pat?
No, sorry, I can't. Can I change my answer?
Yeah, go on. Because you weren't concentrating. It's fine. He's given a penalty.
30.
30.
19.
OK, go on, Pat.
19.
19. Joint points, because you both said 30, so 27 goals conceded. Not bad, OK. So, yeah, there's going to be a penalty now. Sam and Dan both with a point. Good work, boys. Yeah, it brushes Thiago Silva's hand. He jumps up to win the header. He's kind of leaning to try and get over the top of a player, and it brushes his knuckle, and it is
he's
a
not
penalty.
done it deliberately.
No, absolutely not. It's just as he's trying to.
He
he's tried to get leverage, hasn't he? And it's kind of brushed his hand. It's one of those that I think you know he's going to get given because of how it is, but it's not a handball when you.
Do you know what? How can he get his hand out of the way, because his hand's on the shoulder?
Exactly.
So you can't move it.
Yeah.
So maybe they would argue hand shouldn't be on his shoulder.
Well, Eduard Mendy has come up against penalties fairly recently in the African Cup of Nations final.
He saved a massive one. He saved a massive one, which led to the chance to Sadio Mane to score the winner in the AFCON.
Absolutely,
so
yeah.
I was watching the game, and he didn't let many goals in that competition. So
no, so he's a big chance, and it will be
Diego.
Their main man, really, the man that scored in the semi-final, top goal scorer from last season, all competitions. Goal scoring midfielder Rafael Veiga. He's a very good player. He's a very good penalty taker as well, but he'll have never been in this sort of position taking a penalty against Edu Mendy. So it's a big opportunity for Palmeiras, but 63 minutes on the clock. We've still got plenty of time, boys. However this happens, we've still got plenty of time. No movement on the bench, so Kepa's stayed seated. That's normal. Again, there's a lot of pressure on this, though, because, like we mentioned, it is in front of the Palmeiras fans. There's a big sea of green and white behind. There's a lot of pressure, but Mendy, you know what Mendy's like. You know how good Mendy is in this situation. Bit of a tense moment, naturally, in the Club World Cup final.
They've made him wait, haven't they, a long time? That's not good for him.
No. He's tucked in the bottom corner. It's a good penalty. It's a very good penalty. But, again, we knew that this kind of adversity happens in finals, Dan. It happens in finals.
Yeah, it's there's nothing you could do about that. No. I'm not sure that's the correct decision, but I think it's one that you'd expect to get given.
I think I think it probably is a penalty, but you see in the replays, it probably is a penalty, but it is one of those where it's the actual contact to the hand is minimal. Like if we're comparing what should have been a penalty last night at Kings Meadow in the WSL, it's incomparable.
I just want consistency. I just want consistency. Look, we've been the better team, and to be fair, we were on our way, towards maybe getting a second and killing this game off, and they've found themselves with a lifeline. They're back in the game. We need to clear our heads and just continue playing the same game, because they're not worth that goal. I don't think. I think we've been by far the better team.
I suppose that's the frustration, Lauren, is that we have been by far the better team, but again, the confidence being we've had the lion's share of possession in the game, we've been the better side, we've taken the lead, and a kind of a bolt from the blue has levelled it. So there's no sort of no concerns just yet. We're still in control of this game.
Yeah, I mean we've got a while to go. That's the only saving grace, I think. But yeah, it's kind of one of those. I think the problem is now for us is like the actual momentum that would have given them, and the energy in the stadium, the fans. Look at them, they're bouncing up and down. So that's going to be massive for them. So the next 10 minutes for us is going to be tough.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely spot on, Terran. We're just seeing pictures of the Palmeiras fans, and they're bringing a lot of energy, a lot of noise to the game, and you can even see the sort of I don't know what the percentage of Palmeiras to Chelsea fans in the ground, but it's certainly largely in their favour. And like Lauren said there, that's the biggest thing now that Chelsea have to be wary of, is that momentum. And just as we say that they've got a corner which has just been cleared by Callum Hudson-Odoi, but there is that now. This game has become a lot different in the last 90 seconds.
Absolutely. It's so frustrating because I look at that and I never feel as if Chelsea gets that kind of call in a game, and then to see something so, it looks so soft. Like it's barely a touch. It kills the momentum for us, and hopefully we can regain something in a couple of minutes here to get us back on track, get a shot, get a possession, anything to really get us back on track.
Completely right. And Terran, I am going to keep coming back to you because you give me confidence in a tight game because it's what you enjoy. So I need your energy. Yeah. I need your positivity at times.
Oh, no problem. I can do that, no doubt.
Good man. Jonathan, just on that, yeah, the best thing is we're just seeing shots here of Thomas Tuchel, and whenever I see him, I know that we're in control of the situation because we're 1-1 now. We've been the better side for a large period of time. You can often tell by the way a manager approaches things how he's feeling. There he looked frustrated, but he didn't look concerned. He looked very, very calm, very composed, and I think that's the importance because we do need that now. We need that experience and that leadership in the last 20-odd minutes, don't we?
I would think that the game, even though we consider the equaliser, but we are very much in control. The penalty is really out of nowhere. So I think we are still doing good. But I see that Palmeiras has been getting more control right now. So we might have to maybe send in Jorginho to control our midfield, and perhaps we can work on it for a second goal.
That's a terrific shout, especially because if this does go to penalties, it's one of the best penalty takes in the world. So you add that into it. Pat, you'll have played in atmospheres like this where all of a sudden it feels you've been in control of the game, a bit of a sucker punch almost, and then the noise of the fans add to it. What do you do as a player? How do you get through this?
Yeah, if it's happening against you, it's tough because you know you're going to have to put up with a little bit. But I think Jonathan makes a fantastic point. If you can control, calm it down, hold the ball, and let them chase after you. Remember, they'll be tired as well, and if they've had probably less than 30% of the possession. So if you can take the sting out for 5-10, and again, I think Dan mentioned that there as well, take the sting out of it. Nearly scored a cracker. Great bit of skill. Volleyed it over behind him and then took another touch. Still, ball hasn't touched the ground since it was thrown in, and he's volleyed it straight across. I mean, an impossible angle, but great little bit of skill here. Now, I don't think we looked spooked, and I think I agree with your point, really. We looked over at Thomas there. He was almost smiling, wasn't he? As if to say, we've done everything right. We didn't make any changes there. We didn't look as if we had to. So I wouldn't panic into a change quite yet. But if they do come into it and we aren't controlling it, once again, I'd agree with Jonathan. Maybe Jorginho.
Yeah, I think it's a really good shout. And we've got 20-odd minutes to go, Sam. And I think they're also, you add to the fact that it's still very early on in their season in terms of, we're midway through our season, so there will be an element of tiredness that will eventually play a part. I'm not saying that sort of our fatigue has vanished because of the week that we had off, but on the flip side, they're not going to be quite at a mid-level season point just yet. Their season's only just begun, sort of thing. So there is going to be an element of that, and perhaps the next 5-10 minutes you may need to just sit tight and slow the game down a little bit and get our foot on it and retain the kind of control.
Yeah, I think that's what's needed in this type of game. You can see that we're taking a few more touches, but they're going for it as well, so they're leaving a few gaps that they wasn't leaving beforehand as well. So hopefully we can kind of take advantage of that. But like you said, the composure that Tuchel shows, I think that the players are going to look over and see that there's still a few minutes to go, that we shouldn't panic. We've still got a few people to come on from the bench. The only thing that I don't really like is that the ref is giving them a lot of these half fouls, and that gives those teams like Palmeiras and their fans something to shout about. So, yeah, There's
a thunderous tackle there from Danilo, who's a holding midfielder, a young Brazilian. He's very highly thought of in Brazil. He's got a couple of under-20 caps, and he's kind of been looked at by a lot of big European sides, but he just thundered into attack with N'Golo Kanté, and that's one of those that I think in the Premier League you have players that are screaming for a red card almost, not for the foul itself because it probably wasn't a foul, but the sheer pace he's thrown into the tackle. There is a little bit of that now, Dan, that we have to be aware, like we just said, it means a lot to them. We can see how much it means to them, but we need to make sure the occasion doesn't run away with us now, because we've been in a position where perhaps we think we've won the game, and now it's completely different.
I've been quite impressed with our response. I feel like we've kind of gone back to keeping control of the game, and obviously they're a good team. They're going to have moments. They're beginning to throw the kitchen sink, but they do look like they're getting a bit more tired than we are. I feel like our conditioning will help us through this, and we just have to keep probing, and something will come, and we just got to try and make sure that there's no mistakes and anything like that can even the game up for them. But yeah, with the referee, it does look like they're calling. Maybe he's listening to the crowd, and maybe he's falling into the trap. But it looks like it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, and the decision's always going to Palmeiras at the moment.
Their manager, Abel Ferreira, Pat, you've seen sort of bits and pieces of him in Europe. He was at he was in Porto, he was in Portugal for a little while with, I think it was with Braga and Sporting, and he was at PAOK in Greece, and he's been at Palmeiras for a little while. But he's got a bit of the Jose Mourinho's about him. He kind of he likes the atmosphere. He likes to get people on side. He's very loud on the touchline. He gives a lot of energy to his players. So I suppose in this sort of environment, those sort of tackles, that is their game plan as such, because it adds a little bit more of an extra element to it. And again, they're a fantastic footballing side, but we also have to be very aware that we do come into this as favourites, so they play into the underdog spirit. And Jose Mourinho, if we're going down that analogy, he loved that sort of terminology.
Definitely loved it. Oddly enough, he wasn't a very showy player as a player. He was just a good, steady right fullback.
Yeah, he was,
I remember. Used to see quite a bit of him. But no, he's loving this moment there, and I think he'd have been shocked to find himself, we've got a chance!
Oh! That's just why Christian Pulisic again he's getting closer. Past the bottom left, he is getting closer, and he's flat out on the ground there.
Link up play though, have a look. The big man, he's there again. Romelo's now holding it when he needs to hold it and laying it when he needs to lay it. And he's getting that timing better today. That's why I'm so impressed with him today. He's doing all the right things, he's laying on people. Pulisic has had two really decent chances there. Good reaction, isn't it? From losing the goal, could have lost heart a little bit. And I totally agree with the point he made before there. They'll tire more than us. I'm absolutely convinced of it, because they've got a starting 11 that they would love to stick with. They've made one change, but they don't want to make any changes. But it is the end of a tournament. They've done a lot of travelling. We can make 4, 5 players that we could bring on that are not going to make us any weaker and would make us stronger.
I was going to ask you that, Sam, because I think even sort of 4 or 5 days ago, actually a little bit longer than that, even a week ago, we'd have been saying, if penalties look imminent, then you make sure Kepa's ready. But Eduard Mendy's won a trophy in a penalty shootout recently, so you've got that option as well, haven't you? It's kind of maybe it is a Kepa situation, maybe it's not a Kepa situation. You've got Jorginho. Is it a Jorginho situation? Is it not? That the quality and the options we've got still from the bench with 15 minutes to play, they give us exactly that, options.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's going to be hard for Tuchel. These are going to be big decisions, like you said, because the team that's playing right now, I can't really fault them. I think a lot of them have played their roles perfectly. We could say we could probably create probably fresh legs would be nice in the forward areas, but like we said, Pulisic has come on and he's created quite a few chances. Havertz is getting involved as well. Kovacic and Kanté are getting involved. So I don't know. I'm happy that it's Tuchel making the decisions, not me.
Well, even Kova, Kova's won this tournament twice with Real Madrid, Dan. That know-how coming into this, N'Golo Kanté is a World Cup winner who's had to dig deep and got a little kick out at Christensen there afterwards on that, but it could be a chance here for Pulisic. It's gone for a goal kick, or I think it's a goal kick, yeah. We've got experience within the squad to get through difficult periods and get through tough games like that, so he's going to bring on Timo Werner, actually. Timo Werner is the first change from the substitute bench, as is Saul Niguez as well. So it'll be a double change, Saul and Timo. What do you make of that?
I think Timo will scare them, because if you're a tired defender, the last thing you want to see is a pacey, direct forward coming on, because he's going to take on a foot race every single time.
He's holding him, though.
But I mean, shout for a penalty kick there. We probably won't get it, but he's dragging his shirt, isn't he?
The thing is, we're just not going to get any favours. I don't know what it is, but we're not getting any decisions at the moment. But they are beginning to leave a bit of meat in these tackles. The good thing is we know we've got players that are clutch, and they know how to deal with situations like this. They'll navigate this, and I feel like we are getting stronger. We'll have to play slightly differently now that Romelu's coming off. But I'm interested to see what Tommy Tuchel has up his sleeve.
Yeah, it's Romelu Lukaku for Timo Werner and Callum Hudson-Odoi for Saul.
Okay.
So potentially Saul. He's coming in field actually, so I think it might be Pulisic at left wing back. I thought we have seen Saul play at left wing back earlier in the season, haven't we? But let's get some social media reaction more to the game at the moment while Palmeiras make a couple of changes. People are getting a little bit. Scott's getting a little bit nervous online. It's all right, Scott. It's all right, mate. We've been here before. Lad. We've been all right. Let's do the next quiz question then, shall we? Okay. So
I'm winning, right?
No.
I am. I've got 3. I've got 3.
Yeah, no, you've got 3. Yeah, you've got 3. Yeah, you've got 3. Okay. This is hopefully this isn't topical. Who was first last time? Do you remember?
I think it's me. I'll go first this one.
It's not. It's Dan.
Okay.
Including shootouts, how many pens has Kepa saved this season? Including shootouts.
Seven.
Pat?
Oh, I was going to go 4. 4? I'll stay with
6.
Okay, we've got a bit of a problem because it's 5. I'll give you both a point. Give you both a point. Yeah, you both a point. Even my maths can do that. So Palmeiras are making a double change as well. Ronnie and Rafael Veiga, actually, the man that took the penalty, substitute for Wesley and Atuesta. So I don't know whether they're looking at penalties. Probably not, actually, in fact, with the 2 changes, Pat, because Ronnie's quite a big player for him. He's a big character. He's not had the best of afternoons, but he's a very tricky player that I know a lot of, again, he's on the radar of 1 or 2 European clubs.
If they had the choice and they could keep their players on, they'd keep them on. But they've run themselves out, so they're lacking in energy to do that. But just to go back to our changes there, I think we're going to go, is it 4-4-2 maybe? Which is interesting to see how we go and play that, because we'll get Werner's going to be up front, but maybe alongside Kai playing together up front, maybe as a 2. We shall see.
Yeah. I think, but I mean, by the looks of it, it looks like we might have gone to a 3, definitely a 3 in the middle, because Saul's coming alongside Kovacic and Kanté.
3-5-2.
Back 3, and then more advanced wingers in Aspi and Pulisic, and then a 2. Yeah, and then a 2 through the middle of Kai and Timo.
It's an interesting way to do it. But can I say one thing again? I do keep on going on about Romelu. His reaction when he ran off there. He ran off sprightly, as if to say, right, come on, I've done my job, I've done my best. We need to get this going at a good pace. Loved his attitude there, and maybe it was always a question after the slight difficulties early in the season. Absolutely loved that attitude, brilliant.
Completely, and I mean, I love any narrative, anything that pins up. But not only if Mateo Kovacic wins today, will it be his 3rd? If Thomas Tuchel wins, he'll become the 3rd German coach in a row to win this competition, behind Hansi Flick at Bayern and Jurgen Klopp at Liverpool. So good things come in 3s. That's what I'm hoping anyway. And the 3rd goal today will definitely. What's a thunderous tackle from Andreas Christensen? It's really good. Let's go back to the Zoom wall then. I mean, it's very tense in the corner with Lauren, Libby and Elliot. This is getting very tense in here. Are you feeling any more confident? Anything to calm the nerves? Are you feeling okay?
No. This is exactly what I said when that I was dreading the last 10 minutes, and we're in the position that we're in. So, we're sweating, I think.
We're in it together. We'll get there. It'll be all right. I'm going to pass over now to Terran, because Terran, I've already seen there a bit of applause, a bit of a motivation. I'm enjoying it, mate. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good about this. I love the tackle that Christian just put in. I'm hoping that he's not injured, or I hope it's just tired leg. But I love that tackle, and I feel confident about the last 10 minutes of this game for us.
We are slightly ahead of you, so yeah, Christensen's okay. I think it was a little bit of fatigue there, but he looks all right. Doesn't look like any lasting problems off that tackle. Jonathan, this is going to be a tense final 10 minutes, maybe a little bit more obviously for added on time. But we've already seen the change that Thomas Tuchel's made, and if there is one thing that a tiring defender will not like to see, that is a fresh Timo Werner coming off the bench.
Definitely, with Timo, it is another dimension that we have in attack. with Pulisic and Timo Werner, I think that we have a good chance to, because I'm looking at the true pass right now. So I think we have a chance, especially towards the end of the match, especially in extra time as well, whereby legs are tired. That's where Timo Werner will take full advantage of Timo Werner's speed and pace.
Absolutely right, mate. Absolutely spot on. Yeah, fingers crossed there'll be a half chance or something at the end that Werner can get in behind from. So I don't want to jinx it. I don't want to get that far ahead yet. But when you're looking on the pitch now, is there 5 penalty takers that do jump to mind, Sam, straight away? Is there? I mean, usually, I only mention that because usually you'd say that 1 would be Jorginho and 2 would probably be Lukaku. We've seen Timo Werner take penalties in the past with Chelsea, of course. We've even seen Callum take them in shootouts. Obviously, he's just departed.
Takes them for America.
America, well. Yeah, Christian Pulisic, it's a good shout. I mean,
comfortable with Kai.
Yeah, absolutely right. Thiago Silva. I mean, again, I think I'd let him do anything. I think he's just one of those players. If you want to take corners, Thiago, you crack on, son.
Can I guess that Tony Rudiger might not try a Jorginho? He might just go for the lash.
I do hope so, but if there would be anything that would change his brand completely, it would be a little Panenka or something just completely different. But Dan, again, you look across, we're not, I'm not even going to pretend that I've looked at what 5 penalty takers Palmeiras would take, but I suppose that is one thing to play into penalty shootouts. Now, Chelsea have been involved in a few in the last couple of months, and there's no one really that jumps to mind for having taken one. So if you can't do your research on them, then you can't.
Yeah, exactly. And also, they've all pretty much taken one. Yeah. We had a period where we had nothing but penalty shootouts, so they're all comfortable taking them. I think it's an advantage that none of them really jump off the page at you.
Yeah, they've been involved, haven't they? Like
my only worry is we have such a good record this season in penalties. That's what I just want this done within 120 minutes if possible.
It's within 90. I hate to tell you that.
Oh, it goes straight to
go straight to pens, yeah.
That's what I expected. Can I tell you something else about penalties? This is weird. This is a season like no other. Because of the way it's gone, because of some rule changes, etc., because we're not getting replays, etc., we're getting more penalty kick competitions than we've ever had before. AFCON, just off the top of my head, 37.5% of the games in the knockouts were penalty kicks. They went to penalties. So if a third of the games in competitions that are knockout are going to penalty kicks, you've got to be practicing them.
Yes, very true.
Don't tell me that Thomas hasn't been talking to the lads and saying, we have to do this, we have to be onto this. So we might not have big name players doing it, but I'll tell you what, we have thought about it.
Oh, completely right. And like Dan's mentioned there, we've been involved in, is it 3 already this season, 2 in the Carabao Cup, and then obviously the Super Cup final as well. I suppose the only difference there massively is that Kepa's been in goal for all 3 of them. I mean, is that something that plays into your mind now, Pat? Do you think about that? Or like we said, Edouard Mendy's been involved in a cup final penalty shootout only 7 days ago. It was last week, yeah.
You always ask me about things I've been writing in the Chelsea website. I was writing in the Chelsea website.
It's because I'm a big fan of yours, Pat, and I read everything you do, mate.
No, that was a complete fluke. Anyway, but really, it's hard to know sometimes why some keepers are good at it, and I sometimes think they don't actually know themselves. I've played with some great goalkeepers who have been rubbish at saving penalty kicks, but it's mostly, I think, about good knowledge that you've got because they've told you where the player's going to put it. Yeah, you may have it in your water bottle or a bit of paper, memorise it, but in actual fact, it's reading body language, and it's something that's innate. It's so hard to learn. Some keepers are great at it in games, but terrible at penalties. Kepa's brilliant at it, at penalties. His numbers that go in the right way are exceptional. So this is such a temptation. If you could get him on that pitch, you'd get him on that pitch.
And also, it's a bit of mind games as well, Sam, isn't it? Because if you've got a goalkeeper that you know's got a terrific record in penalties and is on the bench, I imagine if I was a penalty taker at the moment for Palmeiras, every time the ball's out of play, I would be glancing over because if I see a big orange blur all of a sudden arise from the dugout and Kepa is thinking, I'm thinking, well, he's done his research on where I'm going to put it.
Yeah, they'll definitely be scared if they see Kepa. His record speaks for itself, and I think, like you said, they'll be looking over and knowing they probably don't want it to go penalties. That's why you see them going for it right now. And like Pat said, they've got players that they would have had in their that they would have had in their first 5 have come off because of the fact that they're fatigued. So it's gonna be interesting to see if it happens probably in the next few minutes, or if Tuchel believes that we can nick a goal.
Likewise, Jorginho, Dan. You know, if you're the Palmeiras goalkeeper Weatherton, who to be honest with you does love. He loves the entertainment factor of football. He's a very eccentric goalkeeper. He's a very good goalkeeper, but he does buy into the whole drama of a penalty shootout. You probably are having a little look over thinking, is Jorginho going to come? Because he's the one that I've done all the research on being first penalty taker.
How do you do research on Jorginho?
Well, it's a very good point. It's a very good point, mate. It's a great point, mate. It's a very good point, yeah.
It's near enough impossible. He goes where you're not.
Yeah.
It's just that simple, and he rolls it there. So there's probably, if there's one person you don't want to do any penalty research on, it's probably Jorginho. But look, the thing is with shootouts is these are all professional footballers. They can all put the ball in the back of the net from 12 yards. It's just about who is able to mentally do it on a more consistent basis. And
well, the big boss, Mr. Abramovich, in the stadium there this afternoon, looking like we are a little bit, to be honest, a little bit nervous, but ever so excited. He heads and kicks every ball, doesn't he? Fantastic. And just coming on to let's go back to our Zoom audience that, again, very similarly to us here, are feeling the tension, feeling the nervous energy. I'm gonna put you all on the spot actually. So Lauren, I want 3 answers from you and the team. Who's your first penalty taker then from the players that are on the pitch at the moment?
We were actually just discussing who we would feel confident about stepping up. I think Aspie will take one, and he'll bury it every time. So I think he's probably the most confident that I feel.
Number one, I like that. Yeah, leads by example, doesn't he? On and off the pitch. Yeah, I think that's a really good shout. Terran, do you agree with that one, or have you got a different first penalty taker in mind?
Talking on mute that entire time. Kai Havertz would be the first one I would throw up there, just to make sure that he gets it in. Because I've seen him seem to be off a little bit in the beginning, but he looks like he's had a good game today. Put him up first, breed confidence to the rest of the lineup. Yeah,
Kai's a great shout. Jonathan, we've got Kai Havertz and Aspie as choices. Have you got another name that you want to add to that mix?
I'm looking at Timo Werner or Rudiger as the first shot.
I think that's a good shout, yeah. And I mean, Antonio Rudiger, like Pat was saying, he's going to put his foot through it. He's going to set the tone for it ahead. You do look at this, and again, Pat, you've been in this situation, I assume, as a player. And do you look around and think it's the experienced heads that you want stepping up? Is it the most confident at the time? Is it the best penalty taker in training? How do you judge it?
Lots of ways of judging it. One of the best ways to judge it is see who's looking at you.
Right.
See if someone's looking away. You don't want him taking a penalty.
That'd be me.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm looking away.
He's looking away. He's playing better when the manager's not there.
I'm doing my dishes up.
That's true though. If you imagine, you look at and you want to see eyes right in your face. You want to see Mason Mount's eyes because he does that sort of stuff. He's not on the pitch, and that's the last thing you want to see. So it's somebody looking at the back of a head or something like that, and it's the only time in a football pitch you'll ever see N'Golo Kanté going like that, looking like that, because. He wouldn't be my first pick because I don't think that's his kind of thing. He can do absolutely everything else in the game. He probably could do that, but I'm not sure he would be as comfortable with that. But just look at who's confident. Kai will be confident. Timo will be confident. Thiago Silva will be confident. Aspie is just a given. It's just a complete and utter given. I would be having him as my first as well. But if someone, even who's one of your better penalty kick takers, has a wee look away when you look at him, think about it.
Yeah.
He might not have been having a good day, maybe carrying a wee injury. So there's a lot to take on board. Do you know, more often than not, Gaffer just says, right, who fancies it? And because that tells you who's confident. And it's a good thing, a good way to work it.
You've done yourself a disservice here, Sam, because you're an unbelievable footballer, and you keep giving a different narrative today, but you are a very good footballer.
No, it's pens. I can't do pens.
You and me both, mate.
The one time I tried to take a pen, we were winning 8-0 and I still missed it.
Doesn't matter then, mate. It's fine. Yeah,
no,
exactly.
But it's the fact that I missed it. Do you know what I mean? There was no pressure.
4-1, we were up with a minute to go against Manchester City, and I nearly reached the keeper.
Yeah,
nearly.
I'll be honest with you, there's been a lot of talk about bad penalties recently, and you're very proud of the fact that that's in the conversation. But just on, there's a chance one maybe last chance. We're into the added 5 minutes of the final here. Sam, Sal's a shout as well. I don't know for a fact, but I'd imagine it'd have been a penalty taker in the Champions League final against Real Madrid for Atletico a few years ago. I know he will be fairly confident. If not, he's been in this situation before or been involved in situations like that before. So he's another one we kind of forget about because we've got so many penalty takers that probably would be ahead of him of a 1-5 in a game, but he's a sensational penalty taker. That's a foul there. Stonewall foul, push on Pulisic, not given. So again, we've got plenty of options around the squad.
There's a lot of experience in the squad, so I'm not going to be nervous to see anyone step up. Like Pat said, those people are probably the guys that you would have expected to say to Thomas that, I'm willing to step up. And I think Saul, he did take a penalty, or I've seen him take a few penalties for Atletico. So I would really want just a last minute screamer from someone.
I'm being told as well, and there's sort of conflicting reports whether it does go to extra time or not. So I tried to look at this earlier, and it won't surprise you that the FIFA website is not that easy to navigate. And I've tried to find the rules out beforehand. So there's some journalists that are saying it does go to extra time. Some are saying that it doesn't go straight to penalties. Obviously, the semi-finals went straight to penalties, so I think that's where the confusion may have been coming in. In the past, it has gone to extra time, but every competition seems to have changed its rules in the last 3 days. Kovacic just volleyed over from range. So it may go to penalties, it may not go to penalties. If it's another extra half an hour down, does that give you more or less confidence?
More. I feel like we are growing in this game, and if this game was to be decided without... I don't like penalties, if I'm honest. For as many as we win, I don't like them because it is a flip of a coin. Whereas I feel like we are the better team. I feel like we have been for pretty much the whole game. Another 30 minutes with their tired legs, and I just imagine we'd get stronger. I'm hoping that there is another 30 minutes before. It's amazing that we don't know.
The thing is as well, I've seen journalists that are out there that are saying it is, and I've also seen another journalist that's pitch side that's saying it isn't. So it's genuinely there's a bit of confusion coming in.
Pitch side's hopeful because they should be able to ask the officials.
Well, I mean, they might be a bit busy, Pat. I'll be honest.
There is that.
If you see Lee Parker tapping a lino on the shoulder, I think there's a bigger problem.
And how good is Lee Parker's Colombian?
Well,
because I know
do you know what? This is the difficulty, because unfortunately we can't get hold of Lee because the Wi-Fi's poor, and Lee is always the man that I trust. If he tells me it's raining and it's sunny outside, I'll believe it's raining. I trust Lee Parker in every environment. But there's still a couple of minutes to go into this, and like we said, potentially extra time, if not penalties.
Here's a brilliant one, by the way. Do the players know?
Can I ask you a question then?
You'd have to kind of gauge it by that.
Well, I genuinely do want to know this as a more generic, sort of general point, because I certainly don't, as a football fan and someone that I pride myself on knowing quite a bit of research into football, I don't know half the rules nowadays because they change so frequently. So do players know, or do players just
what they have now is, not now, but they've always had the referees come and at the start of the season and say, look, here's the major differences of A, the rules, and B, how we're going to interpret them. So you get told. And it is true, 2 or 3 of the players do listen. Only 2 or 3 of them. The rest have just got on and play.
But I guess you need the 2 or 3 to be
the captain,
Cesar Azpilicueta being one, and then the rest of them will
But the reason why they don't listen, it's not that they're disinterested, it's because the referees will come and tell you one season. They'll say, right, by the way, this time, from crosses, and if there's any pulling the jersey in the box, we're going to definitely give a penalty. And they do for 2 weeks. And then they forget it. It's after a while, year after year, it's the cry wolf stuff. The players just think, get off. We'll see how it goes. But certainly the rules and the penalty rules are really, really difficult now. And I think most players, we all struggle with it.
Oh, completely. I am being told that we are now fairly certain it's extra time. So that will be coming imminently. I suppose it would make sense, Sam, why there's not
signs.
Kepa's.
Signs of Kepa.
Or Jorginho. And also, again, not in any other way, but if it is a showpiece final, they don't really want it finished early. Drama helps everyone in terms of if you're making a spectacle, doesn't it? So extra time seems like a logical conclusion.
Yeah, and it's just, I feel like Dan said, if it goes the extra, he's offside. If it goes the extra 30, we should get another goal. I feel like you can see them kind of getting a bit more tired. They're still trying to defend well as a unit, but at the same time, you can see them. The challenges are a bit rash now, and you can just feel a goal coming. And Chelsea have been quite patient. They're not rushing it. They're not trying to, go gung ho. Even though Rudiger just went against what I said, but I'm hoping in the next 30 minutes we can score a goal. It's just gone extra time.
Yeah, so it's just blown up for full time. Just as well as say some quick quiz questions, really, isn't it? It's extra time, Jonathan. It's going to be an extra half an hour, I suppose. That, like we said, Chelsea's quality growing into the game again. The one moment really that Palmeiras have been involved has taken it to this level. So you'd have confidence in Chelsea to get the job done one way or another.
Definitely, I think in terms of the players, we have the better players. So the longer it goes, actually, I prefer our chances more. But then if it is a penalty shootout, then like what you say, it's lottery, flip of a coin, whereby your skills don't, your superiority don't matter that much. So extra time might be a good time for us to get a winning goal.
Completely, and also, Terry, added to the fact that there are a lot of players, especially within the Chelsea camp. Pretty much everyone is a seasoned international that's played in high intensity games, and again, is 2/3 of the way through their season. For Palmeiras, they're a lot more inexperienced in certain areas. Again, two of their more experienced players have gone off as substitutes, and it's early on in their season, so extra time may be the difference maker in terms of fatigue.
I agree. I think that you're perfectly said. I hope that we can continue in this next 30 minutes, dominate this half, and get a goal. We definitely turned the screw, and it looks like they're exhausted. So I'm hoping that we can continue to do that, turning on the screw, and hopefully get a last goal to not have to go to PK for change.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Lauren and the team, is this more confidence boost, the fact that it looks like it's going to go to extra time rather than straight to penalties? Do you feel more comfortable in that scenario?
Yeah, I was when you said, there is a chance, I was thinking, oh, thank God. So, yeah, definitely if we go to extra time, obviously I'd prefer to win it that way. But I do think we look tired as well, though. I don't think we. I'm not sure how we'll come out. Hopefully we'll have a bit more energy, but I do think we're looking pretty tired.
Oh, I think it's a really good point. And again, we talk about the conditions. That's obviously going to play a part. We've got lots coming up on the fifth stand-up for you for the next couple of days, including something very special on Monday.
This card isn't big enough to say all the beautiful things I want to say to you, so I'll keep it short. I love you. To my lovely husband, if you asked me what's my happy place, I'd always say it's you. And if you ask me why I love you, I'd say it's the little things you do. I'm sorry, I can't give eye contact. Nah. This is the big one. For the one I love on Valentine's Day. Sometimes the busy days go by and I don't get a chance to say how wonderful you are. How thankful I am for everything you do. Oh, come on, man. I love our life together. It's not done. I hope you already know just how amazing you are to me. But on Valentine's Day, I thought I'll tell you again. I love all the happy times we share. I think you're incredible, and you're my best friend. And I love you very much. Oh, God. Thanks for being you. Happy Valentine's Day. Yeah. Oh my gosh, that is so cringe, man.
The Valentine's Day special of Trending coming on Monday. That's going to be very, very funny, isn't it? Ruben Loftus-Cheek and Trevor Chalobah. We're just seeing two changes from Chelsea. Mateo Kovacic and Andreas Christensen being replaced by Malang Sarr and Hakim Ziyech for the first part of extra time. So it does mean, boys, that either one or Jorginho or Kepa aren't going to play a part. does that surprise you, Sam?
I think we're trying to get it done in this extra time. I think with Ziyech coming on, like we said, he had a good game on Wednesday. Hopefully, with his fresh legs, we'll see some magic that we've been seeing from him. And I think Malang Sarr is going to shore it up a little bit. I think Kovacic...
it's a bad tackle on Ziyech straight away. He's gone through the back of him.
That was a really bad challenge. But yeah, like I said, they're fatiguing, so bringing on fresh legs is definitely going to help.
We spoke about this in the semi-final, and Lauren made the point excellently about, sort of the fatigue setting for Chelsea as well, having to deal with the climate and the temperatures and everything like that comes with it. And the fact as well, that this is a final, the adrenaline gets you through a certain amount, but we do have to remember we've played a lot of football, and 1 week doesn't automatically refresh the batteries fully.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's important that we just keep that ball. A couple of times there we've tried to thread the needle passes and we're giving them possession. I think this is the time in a match where you want to keep it as much as you can, make them do all the running and we see all of the ball. I would have thought Jorginho would be on at some point soon, just to almost become that metronome for us and keep us ticking over. He's not just a penalty taker. He's almost a quarterback, a game controller. So the faster that he gets on, especially if Kanté or Kovacic start to tire, I think it will help us a lot.
Also, Pat, he's an Italian international, but Brazilian-born Jorginho, so there's an extra element to that potentially.
I just wonder if he's got an injury. To be honest, I wonder if he has, because the way this game's been, it's looked like it would have suited him quite well for various points of the game. And you've made a lot of choices before bringing him, so I just wonder if he's wary of bringing him on if he may well be carrying an injury. So that might be something. Also, Thomas has changed his system tactics again, which is a great thing if you can change it consistently throughout the game, because Sarr's going to left back Rudiger and Thiago Silva, and right back's Aspi. And I think you've really got Kanté and Saul sitting kind of in front there, but it gives you real opportunities for those other players, the edge, to get forward. Maybe Kai a bit further front, whereas Werner's using the pace up on the left-hand side a little bit more. So he really has mashed it about a little bit. And that's the last thing you want to see if you're the opposition. You think, right, what? System? Personnel? What's going on here? But we'll see if it confuses them. It looks like a fresh-looking team we've got out there now.
Yeah, absolutely right. And more social media reaction coming into the the final, of course. Honestly, my heart can't take it if we go to penalties. Just win this in extra time. That's from Kai. It's a really good point. Obviously, we absolutely want that to be the difference maker. We absolutely want that to be the difference. And hopefully, fingers crossed, we can get it done in a certain amount of time. Right, I'll tell you what then, boys. Let's get. Should we get another quiz question in?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay.
Let's lift it. My energy's all over the place.
So hang on, let me count this. Right. Okay. So this is your start, Pat. This includes England and Ireland. Okay, it's two separates.
What's wrong with Scotland?
How many countries have we played in this season?
How many countries have we played in?
I've given you two there. But I had to because...
England and Ireland?
Yeah. Well, technically it was Northern Ireland.
Northern Ireland, okay then. Right, okay. So, Champions League, there's got to be 3 there. I'd go 5.
Sam?
7.
Dan?
6.
It is 6. It is 6. This is the 6th, isn't it? Because you're right, we played in Sweden against Malmo.
Yeah.
France? No, Champions League group was Italian against Italy. And then we played in Russia, played in Belfast for the Super Cup final, England, of course, home games, and now Abu Dhabi. So it's a good one. It could have worked out, but
if there's 5 and 7.
Yeah.
See, I like your intelligence about that. That's good intelligence.
Dan's playing percentages already. He's like, let them do the hard lifting. I respect it. So 4-3-3, like the formation is what the scores are sitting at the moment. But like you said, it looks like between N'Golo Kanté and then Saul occasionally, perhaps dropping into it being a 3 or potentially it being a 2 and then a 3.
Really just try to press them on, getting as many players coming from different angles as possible. And they went to a 5 earlier on. I think they're at a 7 at the back at the moment. I mean, it's such a line they've got at the back, and they're just playing A, for the odd breakaway, but B, for penalty kicks. And that's what they're just trying to survive at this moment in time. We're used to that. We've had that almost every game at Stamford Bridge this season. And it's infuriating because you feel as if you've earned the right for a team to come out. It's champions of the world, for goodness sake, have a go. But I just don't think they've got the energy levels that we've got.
Yeah.
I think, like we alluded to earlier in the game, Sam, their coach is quite a cautious coach, but quite a pragmatic one. And it's it served them well. I mean, you don't win 2 back-to-back Copa Libertadores finals without being a very good side. And again, we said this about, it's a good hook delivery in there from Hakim Ziyech, but cleared. It's a good system to set up because notoriously we said this the whole way through the Champions League run last year, but if you don't concede goals and you don't lose games, you're inevitably going to go further than teams that are open, expansive, unless you're Manchester City, of course, that can blow teams away. Notoriously, it's the teams that defend well that get the better results.
Yeah, they knew what they were coming into this game with, and I think the penalty was unfortunate, but it also shows how well they're set up. They know as soon as they get into the box, that's probably one of their only chances they're going to get in how many minutes, so they're going to just throw everyone at it, and that's what happened. Thiago Silva, he's normally very good at clearing in the area, but there was so many players around him. Maybe he just had a lapse of concentration or didn't know which player to get, and then he had to go for that man, and unfortunately touched his arm. But yeah, I think they're very used to setting up like this, and he's probably told them that if we get through this, then it's 50-50, and you've done all you can do, and you can tell that that's how they play him. Yeah,
completely right. And again, like we've alluded to already, Dan, but if you've got an eccentric goalkeeper that you have quality and thrives the big occasion, you do give yourself a very good opportunity in penalty shootouts, because we know that firsthand. If you've got a good goalkeeper that's confident in penalties, then you've got a chance. I don't know why there's a foul there on Hakim Ziyech in the middle of the park. It's probably the most obvious foul you've seen in a long time. About he just kind of barges through him, a vigorous shaking of the finger in disagreement, Dan. But it shows now, doesn't it, that Chelsea's starting to get on top of it a little bit. The little fouls are happening here and there to stop Chelsea getting into a rhythm. Yeah, I mean, the quality, the longer the game goes, the quality will start to show, and it is starting to show. However, like Pat said, they have got around 7 at the back. So even when, Werner's just skinned someone there, and then got to the byline, but he's pulled back into a sea of white shirts, it's so difficult. Yeah, we know what they have no ambitions of attacking our goal. If an opportunity arises, they'll obviously go for it. But their sole purpose right now is to defend theirs. Yeah, even now you've got a 5 at the back with a sweeper in behind, in their captain, who's a strike from range from Malang Sarr. Their sweeper who's playing in behind is the most experienced player. Is their captain, in Gustavo Gomez, who used to play for AC Milan, so again he's got a good amount of experience. He's Paraguay captain as well, so they've been in similar situations. Pat, they've got experienced heads. We're not talking about a team that's kind of got a soft underbelly that you think are going to get found out. They're comfortable in this situation. I think that's showing, isn't it, that Chelsea, they're happy for Chelsea to have the ball, but also happy defending deep and just seeing what happens.
People talk about low blocks and things like that, but this goes back to the Bolt system. Veru was it's off the bar. I can't believe it. It was Christian Pulisic, but it was kind of an amalgamation of about 4 different players just came together. It clips up off his shin. It's working down the left-hand side, isn't it?
Timo Werner's offside anyway, actually, so it wouldn't have counted.
Made a difference on the left-hand side, hasn't it? Timo's come on, and he's just powered past him. Got down there twice, and so he's causing all sorts of damage. So I suppose what you do against that system, which is 4, 1 behind, whatever it is, it's just a mass of bodies there, pure pace, run at them. See if you, in times come by and I played against teams like that, see if you run at them and pace and they're tired, you get a penalty, because they're tired. They'll throw a lazy leg out. So go on, keep on doing it, Timo.
Chelsea have got a resulting corner actually, which has worked in their favour a little bit, because it was an offside that would have been given and pulled back for if it had gone in. It's a good ball in from Timo Werner, but it's cleared away. There is an element of that now, Sam, that perhaps you look at Timo and you say, right, you've got the freshest legs, let's get the ball to you as much as possible.
Yeah, and I think literally Sarr just played him the ball there. Brilliant turn by Rudiger, but yeah, I think Werner's genuinely, he is the outlet that we should be searching for, because, like you said, they're going to have tired legs, and he's probably one of the freshest on the pitch, and his decision making right now in the final third has been looking good. So hopefully we can get a goal from something that he does.
And we know that link-up play between him and Kai Havertz is something that happens more organically than most, actually, Dan. You know, played together for the national team, very close. They were pictured on holiday together during the little break that we had recently. So when you've got that link-up potentially down the left-hand side of Kai being the 9, as it were, and Timo from the left, that's something that you want to get working as much as possible.
Yeah, and I think that way works better than the other way, with Werner as the 9. I feel like sometimes Werner as the 9 can get a bit isolated. I think you can almost create cages for him and he can't exploit his pace, whereas out there on the left you can get him one-on-one with a defender and he'll just have a go, you know, take you on a foot race. But we are beginning to get into some positions. Oof, I think that may have gone out. But it's beginning to, we're beginning to get down the flanks now. Palmeiras they'll be looking at the clock, you know, all the way for the next 20 minutes now.
I think Kai Havertz should go down there, Pat. He gets the beating of the fullback, doesn't he? He kind of leans into him. It's one of those that Mo Salah does very well.
Yeah, he's made a decision that I've done him for pace. I'm going to get beyond. But you're right, it's just been a little nudge on him down by the byline, and he's thought, I can still hold it. You're right, had he gone down, it'd have been a decision for the referee to make. The decisions not all referees make, let's be fair, in extra time. In a cup final, in a major cup final, when it's a question mark over it. But I like what we've been doing, and I agree completely about the fact that Kai centrally looks that little bit better because he can hold the ball. He's got a bit more intelligence about his play, hold the ball up, play other players in. So I'm really happy seeing Kai there because he's got a good understanding with Timo when it goes wider. But they honestly, not to nick Dan's line here, they look like a boxer who's a little bit on the ropes. But you've still got a chance to haymaker. You've still got a lucky punch, swiper's punch, and that's what they're hoping for.
Completely right. Let's get some more interaction then. I mean, I was going to come to you first, Lauren and team, but you all look very tense and very much living and kicking every ball at the moment. How are we doing? Are we all right in the house?
Yeah, that pretty much describes us, to be honest. I think we're always like that, kicking every ball. I feel a little bit better. I reckon one's going to go in.
I think you're right. I think it does feel like potentially something's brewing. And Terran, just talking about that link-up play of Timo Werner and then Kai Havertz as a central figure, but Timo's done really well since he's come on. In fact, both carbon copies, Pulisic, Werner and Havertz have all had opportunities where they've got in beyond the fullback, haven't they, and to the byline. So maybe that's where we can inflict some sort of damage in this in the extra time.
Yeah, I hope that we can, in the second half of the extra time, be able to continue to push the byline and get those cutbacks in. It's looked good. Definitely has looked good in the first part of this first half. So yes, I'm in agreement with you guys. I hope that we continue to do that.
Oh, completely, mate.
I got nervous energy, sorry.
No, you're absolutely right, mate. And Jonathan, the only thing is, and again, I mentioned this earlier, I like to find little stories between it, but we did play a team beginning with P in green earlier in the month and beat them in extra time. I'm clutching at straws there, but we did beat Plymouth in extra time, so maybe there's something in that.
I hope so, but I think there are two different teams, man. One is a continental champion in their own right, so I would hope that the second half will be. We are seeing good things from Werner. Hopefully, the second half of the extra time, he can produce more of it and hopefully get us the winning goal.
Absolutely right. We just saw a big reaction there from Lauren Libby and Elliot because there was a floated ball in that was headed out. Good work, guys. Now do keep that up because this reaction cam at full time if we win is going to be unbelievable. So keep up your good work. That's fantastic. But again, like Jonathan just said, I've done Plymouth a real service there by mentioning them in the same breath as team that have won back-to-back Libertadores. But you do look for anything, don't you, Pat? And I suppose that is another thing. It may not be in sort of as poorly as I put it, but Thomas, who will be saying to his players, look, we've been in this situation 2 weeks ago. Relax, trust the process, know what we're going to do. That little bit of quality will see us through.
Who would you rather be just now if you tried to sit back? Would you rather be playing for Palmeiras or rather be playing for Chelsea? Right. It must be. If you're a Palmeiras player, you're wrecked, you're not getting out. There's the odd flurry when you launch the ball forward and then you're back again. That moment there when they get the free kick, the desire from our three players to go and get the end of that there, and it was a real passion. So the spirit, they're up against the ropes. They're fighting it off to the last second here. They're wanting the next 15 seconds to disappear so they can have another 2 minutes rest at the break. That's what it feels like for them just now.
I suppose there is a little bit of that as well, Sam. The fact that the longer the game comes on, like you've already said, they'll think they've got a 50-50 chance if it comes to penalties. So maybe there is a little bit of that clock watching. You get stuck in, let's get through 5 minutes, let's get through the next 5 minutes, let's get through the next 5 minutes. That in itself is a tough test. But when you are looking at a constant onslaught of chance after chance after chance, rarely do you see an entire second period of extra time come without one chance, and that's all that Chelsea need.
Yeah, and they're not enjoying this anymore. Do you know what I mean? They've just nicked the ball.
Offside.
He's off.
I think he's offside, but he is in on goal. Rudiger's going to make sure.
Brilliant.
Yeah, Rudiger's brushed him off.
He's offside.
He was offside anyway.
Were you concerned there at all?
No, no.
They're not enjoying this at all anymore. I think the first 90, you can say that the crowd, especially after their goal, they probably had the 15 minutes where they felt like they could nick a second, but they just look so tired. I think the striker's trying as much as he can when the ball gets lumped up into his final third, but there's not really much that he's working off. So I think it's all us, and we just need to try and get a goal.
Completely, and that starts with the manager. You can see him prowling the touchline there, Dan, and he sets the tone, he sets the tempo. The difference between the two managers, you can see there's a bit of a nervous energy about Abel Ferreira in the way that his hands on his pockets, he's kind of scuffing his feet along the floor, and he knows as well as we all do, they need to contain Chelsea for another 15 minutes. Whereas Thomas Tuchel does seem the more composed, going, we'll get a chance, it's okay, it will be all right. And if you look over and you see your manager like that, I suppose that leads onto the pitch.
Yeah, well, he knows he can feel it. A lot of times you can feel in the moments before a goal comes, just when you hear someone say that was coming, we have been the better team. We have, throughout the whole 90 minutes, we've been the better team, and we're beginning to put it up another 10% and another 10%. And so far they're holding firm, but you're going to see a lot of this, a lot of people going down with cramp, and a lot of people, just winding that clock down, as you would, if you know that you're the team that's probably getting weaker and the other team's getting stronger, you want to do everything you can to get out and get to penalties.
Completely right. We're just seeing a half-time, in extra time. Yeah, Chelsea won, Palmeiras won still. Go on, Pat, sorry.
I'm just laughing at the fact that I know exactly what they're doing just now at half-time. They're checking out, anybody fancy a penalty? Well, it's a bit early, guys. You've gone a bit early there. There's 15 more minutes, and how different do the two teams standing together look there? They are out on their feet, and applaud them and say, well done.
Absolutely right.
They've fought and they've battled and they've chased and they've been defensive, and they're getting through it somehow, and they've managed to hold us off. They've created, honestly, the square root of nothing. Even their goal, they didn't create that. It's a penalty out of nothing. They really don't deserve to win this competition. It'd be a travesty if we don't win this. And look at Thomas. Thomas is getting on the players as if to say, come on, do you know how important this is? He's saying it, but I don't think he needs to. I think they've shown enough, haven't they? There's enough passion in the Blues there.
I'll tell you what, I will give a huge mention as well to the Palmeiras fans who have, the Chelsea fans as well that have travelled in numbers, but they have been from minute 1 to 105 now. Again, I think one or two of them should have one of them chips in the vest that the players wear, because they've put some miles in the amount of energy they've been pumping up and down. So yeah, fair play to all of them. Right, final quiz question then, and this is Dan's start, I think. How many different players have made an appearance for the first team this season, Dan? This is before kick-off today, but I don't think that's changed because Kennedy was going to be the next in line. How many different players have made an appearance for the first team this season?
28.
Pat?
I was going to go 26, so I'll stay with 26.
Sam?
Don't dare say 27.
I was going to, but let me go 29.
It's just what you did, mate. 30. I'll tell you what, boys. Sam, you've won the quiz overall. Good work. I've got to be honest with you. You've all been very close on every answer. Unprompted, good work.
Except for my one.
Yeah, I wasn't going to mention that, mate. Don't worry about it. I was going to leave it.
I won it now.
You've won it, yeah. It doesn't matter. You're offside early doors, but you've won the game. It's fine. So we kicked off in the second half now, 30-odd seconds into the second period of extra time. 15 minutes away from potentially a penalty shootout to decide who's a champion of the world. That's quite nice still. Yeah. It's not got old yet. It won't do for a long time if Chelsea are the victors, of course, this afternoon. But these next 15 minutes as a player, Pat, what is your mindset? Because I suppose it's going to be a very different perspective if you're a Chelsea player or a Palmeiras player.
But oddly enough, you aren't thinking of champions of the world now. No. You're exhausted. You're wrecked. You want to win a game of football, and all the other stuff will have to come into it. The champions of the world and cup final stuff will start really hitting in again if we go to penalties. Then it'll all come on top of you again. But at the moment, if you're a Chelsea player, you think, no, we've got to get this. We deserve this. We've got to make a chance, because we've not made enough clear-cut chances, have we? Do you know, if I had one thing I would say about us today, you know, when we're looking great, our crosses in from the right and from the left, we're creating a lot of chances from there. We've not managed to do that today, have we? Yes, I know we've not got Reece. I know we've not got Chile. We've not got Alonso, so it's understandable. But you know, when we did get one of them in, we scored a goal, and maybe that's the one thing I'd say we could have done a bit more of that, with a bit more of that. But well done, the opposition stopping us. But it's about winning a game of football. Period. Now.
Absolutely, and you know, there's not certainly not like trying to give ourselves a pat on the back here. But we did say at the start of the game this was going to be a close encounter. This is how they've been successful, Palmeiras, Dan, and also, you know, let's be brutally honest. We've done the quiz earlier on today. We know we scored a lot of goals this season, but in recent weeks, other than the Chesterfield game, we've not blown teams away by winning sort of 5 or 6. So we knew that it was going to need patience. We knew it was going to need a certain amount of belief and adapting our game as and when it required. And there is certainly an element of that now. You know, we just seen Aspi try and sort of deliver a cross in there deep. Kai Havertz seems to have got the beating of those, but we've been able to change it. We're still getting in behind. We're still working different opportunities. We're not panicking here. It's not Route 1 football anytime soon.
No, it still looks very controlled. It looks like we're just building. We're building it. The problem is with these crosses, you need to have. Oh, there we go. You need to have somebody who you believe when you believe in when you're aiming at them. You know, you wouldn't put a cross into Pulisic anywhere near as much as you'd put in a cross towards Lukaku, just because you feel like Lukaku will make the most of this cross. So yeah, I mean, we put a cross in, we got a goal from it. We haven't done it anywhere near as much, but I think that's partly in part to Palmeiras as well. I think they've restricted us and they've kind of dealt with our wide areas pretty well.
Yeah, absolutely right. It's just a deep whipped in cross from Hakim Ziyech there towards the back post. Kai Havertz has jumped up with the goalkeeper who has realised that the wind is a heavy breeze and has gone down for a little while.
It's not the first time. It's not the first time he's done it. To be honest, rolling about there as if he's mortally injured. In actual fact, total nonsense. There's nothing wrong with you there. But asking about the balls coming in there, it would be Kai probably you'd expect more than anyone else would get in the end of it. And he got quite close there, but it's tough. When we're getting the ball wide now, you know, Ziyech comes inside. It's that wall again, isn't it? There are 5 players in there, and 3 of them are centre-backs, and one of them is a goalkeeper. There's very, very, very little space in there to actually find the perfect. And even the goal we did score, see if you look at that closely, Romelu was second favourite by a long way, wasn't he? The ball, he seemed to have no chance. It was a great header. So it's tough to get through that line. It's really tough at the moment.
Completely right, yeah. We've got just over 10 minutes still to play in the second half of extra time. I mean, there's certainly an element now, Sam, of there's going to be one chance and that's probably going to win it. And we've just seen Timo Werner skip past the player. But that energy, that industry and that bravery, I suppose, which you see from every single one of the Chelsea attacking players, certainly, that's what Thomas Tuchel will be wanting from his team now, won't he? Just that one element, that one just moment of magic from someone. Yeah,
and we said it, I think at half-time, sometimes in finals it takes a moment of magic. We saw Kai Havertz in the Champions League final. We've seen Thiago Silva try and Rudiger try from 35 yards to have their moment. And I still think that, like, you can tell that the belief is there for that moment. It's still to come because they're defending.
just speaking at Timo Werner, trying to wrap his foot around one. It's just gone over the bar, but the goalkeeper was a little bit worried for a second.
Yeah, they're defending so deep. So I think it's just the patience, but also just trying something that, you know, you try on the training ground and maybe a hit and hope. I know if I was a striker, I would be just trying to hit it top into.
He's doing himself such a disservice today, Dan. He's knocking zeros on his price tag by the minute. I can't believe it. But it's character, isn't it, Dan? That's what you need in the last 10 minutes. You need characters, and the one thing that you can certainly say about Chelsea is they've shown a huge amount of resilience and character, and again, we've won the Champions League, you know, with this team. They've won the Super Cup. They've qualified for a Carabao Cup final and FA Cup final in recent seasons as well. So character is something that this group is not short of.
Yeah, they know how to win games like this in situations. If it has to go to the 11th hour and actually be won on penalties, we've done it before. And then even I know Plymouth is not the best example, but it is the only example in recent weeks where we've had to go late, you know, later than we probably should have, and we've still come away with the win. So, yeah, I mean, look, I don't feel worried that they're going to score.
Yeah.
I'm only worried that this could end up in a penalty shootout. So we've done well enough. We've played well enough to have won this game, but this is how finals go.
Completely right. And I do keep coming back to it. And Jonathan, I know we spoke about this in the week when we were talking about Al Hilal, but these are the South American equivalents of us in terms of winning the biggest cup competition in club football in their market. So this is also a team, you know, that from a Chelsea perspective, we're confident, but we're confident because of Chelsea, not because of the opposition being any less.
Sorry, I didn't get a question. Can you repeat?
Sorry, I was just saying about Palmeiras will be as confident going into this situation because, you know, they're equivalent, they're champions of the Copa Libertadores. They're confident in themselves.
Definitely, they have to be champions in the continental competition. I believe that they will have the elite mentality to go all the way. So the Copa Libertadores is not easy as well. So definitely, the huge challenge ahead of us.
Absolutely. You're going to see what made us all gasp in the studio very soon, but very close to Chelsea taking the lead.
That's his position.
The resulting corner, it's a lovely in-swinging delivery. Terry's just seen it.
Isn't it great to see that goal going around the world?
Yeah.
Oh, not goal, that attempt going around the world.
It brings me... Oh, it's a...
Oh,
it could be something here. SP is screaming at the referee. They're going to have to look at it because it looked like it came off an arm. Just seeing the reaction, we'll stay with it whilst we try and hear... I'm gonna let the Zoom audience react to that because they're gonna be seeing it in the time that we're seeing it. But Pat, decisions like that, you hope will get looked at. It's a looping header from Sal. It's just headed over. You hope now the referee's going to go and have a look at the screen because it certainly looked at first view, and we've not seen a replay or anything.
He said that. He's already said, yeah, I've got it. It's okay.
Tony Rudiger doing the calming down there, which is uncharacteristically brilliant from Tony Rudiger. He's fuming at the same time, though, actually.
Having an interesting discussion with himself there. What VAR. Go, it was hand.
VAR are looking at it, though. Yeah. They are looking at it.
Do you know 2 or 3 balls?
Oh, he's going to the screen. He's going to give it. He's going to give it.
Oh, so it's good.
Don't say that yet. Don't say that yet because I can't even.
See, Premier League's different from everything else. In Premier League, if you go to the screen, you know, you almost always give it.
Oh, it's handball. It's handball.
It's a save. It's a save.
Oh, he saved it. It's a penalty. It's a penalty.
That's much more.
It's a penalty.
More of a penalty than Thiago Silva.
Yeah.
Much more? Come on.
Ref don't need time. It's a penalty. Yeah, he's give it. Yeah, he has to give that. He has to give it. Yeah, he's give it.
Go on.
Penalty.
Yeah.
Come on. We just said it. Plymouth was the example.
Yeah.
So we need it. But again, who takes it? Who takes it?
Oh, yeah.
Ziyech has taken one for us. He's against Chesterfield in the FA Cup. So he's taken one, scored one. It's a it's a penalty.
Yeah.
It's a penalty. So by the way, Aspi with the Gus Poyet bicycle mid-air attempt. It's a great attempt. Now, we'll obviously keep it posted.
Oh, gosh, I don't know if I can do this.
The tension is this is a tough one. So we've got 5 minutes to go. Aspi's got the ball in his arm at the moment. Now, I do hope it is going to be Aspi to take it. It may well be. He seems in command of the situation at the moment. I'd have absolute confidence if he does want to take it. Yellow card for it.
Harsh yellow. I wouldn't be giving a yellow card for that because he did not mean that.
I wonder, Pat, if it's a yellow card for the reaction, though, because the referee is dishing out cards at the moment. It will be Cesar Azpilicueta to take the penalty for Chelsea. 5 minutes to go in the final of the Club World Cup.
It's Valentine's weekend, isn't it? This is romantic.
To win it all. To win the lot.
It's almost like we're talking about, who said it before the game, at that moment of, the last seconds you will win the trophy you haven't won
He's give it Kai.
I'm actually quite...
We're not live, are we?
I'm quite relieved, actually.
Kai Havertz. I mean, if you're going to give a moment to someone, he could have scored the goal to win Chelsea the Champions League and then score the goal to win Chelsea the Club World Cup.
Kai, what foot are you going to use?
Yeah.
He's so left or right. Honestly, he's one of those guys.
He did miss in the Super Cup, though, boys. He did miss a penalty in the Super Cup. There's Brazilian fans that cannot watch at the moment. The Palmeiras fans in the stands have got their head in their hands. Goalkeeper's got a sharp trim, though, hasn't he?
Yeah. Come on.
He was ready for this moment.
Has anyone ever won the Champions League and this competition been the winning goal scorer?
It's a very good point. I imagine Cristiano Ronaldo has, actually.
Yes! Come on! Let's go!
Come on!
Let's go!
And now we can watch in delay as the penalty goes in around the world. This is going to be my favourite part of the day. Who should we play?
Terran's next. Terran.
Terran or Jonathan?
Terran, definitely.
Terran, then Jonathan, we think, maybe.
Oh, it's such a harsh penalty.
Yeah, it's harsh. But ours is harsh as well. Ours is harsh as well. Neither do I, but it happens to us.
If you give one, you have to give the other one.
Yeah!
What a pen.
There we go. I've never seen a Mexican wave like that before. It was beautiful. It started in London.
What a pen that was.
All the way. Yes, there we go. Fantastic. It's a great penalty from Kai Havertz as well. Sam, it's a great penalty.
He's got to drop in centre back now.
It's actually a mini Jorginho, isn't it?
It was
a mini Jorginho one.
And they're making a change. They're bringing on Devison, who's a centre forward for their right back. So yeah, they're going to have to go for it. Marcus Rojo is the player to come off for Devison, which is this is again with Chelsea. Have got 2 minutes and whatever they're going to add on to hold off.
That's
and
poetic
this
justice.
is probably where you see Chelsea start getting some cramps and some fouls, and this is where we slow the game down.
They do look fatigued, though. You know what I mean?
This is going to be really interesting because they have nothing to lose. Look at them all now. Cavalry chance. There's at least 2 of them up now.
Kai Havertz has been booked, by the way, because he took his shirt off to celebrate. Which I'm sure won't be a problem. I'm sure will be absolutely fine. Could be a break on here though, Christian Pulisic. But this is it now. We mentioned when the first goal happened about the gaps potentially opening up. It's going to be a tense couple of minutes now, Pat. Azpi did a brilliant job there to hold the ball for a little while, take the pressure away from it while everyone was getting around him. He kind of sucked all that atmosphere off, and then when the ball's going down on the spot, he then gives it to Kai.
I love that. That's why he did that.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
It's fantastic, isn't it? And again, captain's role, he does that. He takes it on the chin, and we've got 2 minutes to hold out.
I have only one concern between now and the end of the game. Somebody takes a shot and it hits off a hand. Other than that, I think we're okay. Honestly, it's other than that, I think we're cool. We've got this. But we've deserved this all the way through the game. And it's just whether they've got the energy to throw something at us in this last minute. They'll probably get an extra minute on top of this. Yeah. We are 2 minutes away from being champions of the world. How good is this sounding? Come on.
Yeah, amazing, isn't it? And Sam, this doesn't happen often. Chelsea have never won this competition before. We were beaten 1-0 in the final in 2012 by Corinthians, another Brazilian side. This is, we speak about a redemption arc quite a lot. Azpi's the only player left in the squad that was part of that, and he's then played such an instrumental part, not only winning the penalty, but then taking all the pressure away from Kai, delivering it on a platter for him to write history.
Yeah, there's a poetic justice in all of this, honestly, and even the fact that we got the penalty as well, because like we've said, we should. What?
Thiago Silva's a bit of a clash of heads there with...
Stay down, take time.
Gomez.
And you suggested this might happen, but I think this isn't an act.
Can I ask you a question as well, Pat? Right? Because this always... You can see their captain is holding the back of his head, and then one of their players, so you can clearly see it's a head injury, right? Because their captain's not going to hold their head to time waste when he's 1 down with a minute to go.
Yeah.
I've just seen a Palmeiras player sprint about 15 yards to come and berate the referee for stopping the play, thinking Thiago Silva's play acting. Your own captain's got a head injury.
I know, but and they're not impressed.
The bench are fuming with the fourth official.
Excuse me, are you expecting logic at this point? You've absolutely no chance because you're so desperate. You will never get a chance, maybe ever, again, and that's why they're doing it. He's running over to have a dig at the assistant, their manager.
What I like as well is they were asking for additional minutes to be added on, which in fairness, Dan, they wasted a lot of time themselves. They probably are due a few more than 3 minutes, actually. Probably due a few more, because I think their goalkeeper was on the floor for a minute and a half, so I kind of do get his point, actually. It probably should have been a few more minutes, but through their own doing, really.
Yeah, well, you can't. They cried wolf, and then it's come back to bite them. I would be... Look, this is a game that we've deserved to be ahead in throughout the whole game, you know. It is justice that we managed to get that penalty and that we're ahead. We've just got to run down the clock and use experience. We've had so many 1-0 and tight victories that we know this part of the game, this is where we know how to make it out. Unless we're playing Brighton.
We've just seen a replay of the penalty there, and Pat, he does that, like you said, the Jorginho-esque. He waits for the goalkeeper to move. In slow motion, you can see the goalkeeper's already on his way to his left-hand side, so Kai puts it in Kai's left and the goalkeeper's right.
I used to play with a guy who used to do it every time. The first person to do it was John Aldridge. He did it all the time. He was brilliant at it. And then they outlawed it, but it's now allowed again. So it's a brilliant penalty. It's a halfway between him and Jorginho. But the best thing about it is it hits the side net and keeper goes the right way. That's still a goal because it's good power. It's side-footed, but it's good power, and it hits the side net. That's a perfect penalty.
Completely, and you can see quite a lot of emotion in the stands from the Palmeiras fans. They've been fantastic again today. You know, regardless of the result, they've been phenomenal. They've brought such an atmosphere to this competition. You can clearly see how much this does mean. But I think quite a lot has been made from outside of here about Chelsea, about British and European teams perhaps not appreciating the tournament as much. I can absolutely assure you that every Chelsea fan has wanted to win this competition. Every Chelsea fan at the moment, we're doing like we are and chewing their fingers down to their bones to hopefully get through this final 60 seconds or so. We've got a big bit of reaction here. It's a really good point, actually, on this tweet, which is Liam. Kind of what we were talking about. Actually, very clever captain play by Asby. Held onto the ball to make Palmeiras think he was the penalty taker, absorbed all their attempts to delay, getting his head, then he gave the ball to Havertz. It's exactly what we were saying, Liam. It's a fantastic point because it is exactly that captain's role, Dan, isn't it? And he's taken all of the pressure away. He's done everything right there. He's superb, isn't he?
It's stuff you can't buy. You can't buy experience. You know, he knows exactly what he's doing. He knows that he had us fooled in here.
Yeah, he did.
You know, we were talking about how romantic that Asby's taking a penalty. He's taken all the energy. All Kai has to do is place the ball on the spot and put it in the bottom corner, and he did that. But that's what Asby has become. You know, he's become the father figure. He's become the leader in the group. You know, the most mature.
I think
and then you've got Thiago Silva right there.
Going to be a lot. Thiago Silva just hoofed it clear. I mean, we're into 3.5 minutes now. So apparently the Palmeiras players, coaching staff had got a point, but Kai Havertz is potentially in for.
Come on, he's got to be off there. Surely.
I think he might have got the ball there. Actually,
you think so?
Yeah, I think he might have done.
Actually, there's no complaint from Kai Havertz, so you could be right there.
Yeah, we're into nearly a 4th minute now though, so I'm not quite sure.
Well, to be honest, the play was still down when we went into extra time.
Yeah.
So it's a minimum of. So I think they may get another minute after this.
It's just kicked Saul, our player for them. He's just kicked Saul in mid-air. Possible red card. VAR checks having a look at this. So I'm not quite sure which is up for this. Might be for the Kai Havertz one a second ago, Pat, actually, because that seems very quick as a turnaround for this one. So again, it's going to eat into the seconds, which is absolutely fine by our watch. Yeah. He's going to the monitor, you know, the referee, so it could be a red card.
I don't mind this, though. The time,
possible red card.
Time being wasted.
You called it in real time, Pat.
I thought it was in
probably going to see a replay here, but.
And but he was outside the box, wasn't he? He was outside the box.
Oh,
thank you.
Yeah, you're right. Spot on. Great call, Pat.
What did we see?
Yeah, he's wiped Kai Havertz out.
He'd gone beyond him. I think Kai Havertz flicks the ball away.
That's his pace again, though.
Yeah.
And I know this is
deceptive.
They're trying to find an angle where it's not a red card, and I don't think they can.
Palmeiras were involved in a Libertadores final, by the way.
What? He's not.
That
What's
took
he given?
about he's given a red card. He's given a red card. That took about 20 minutes additional time afterwards, and there was red cards and it was VAR calls and all sorts. So he's been sent off. Luan's been sent off now. He's fuming.
But
I'm not sure. I'm not sure the shock. I mean that apparent. He's just been to the screen to watch you do it. So I'm not sure.
Seen something there though. I could have.
The slightest of slightest, but it's not.
No,
there isn't. There's like a wind. It's like a wind.
So I say want to knock the goalkeeper out.
See when you go off your feet and you could almost break a guy's leg, and you've lulled him and you're out of control. But apart from that, he didn't do much wrong.
Yeah, I mean, it's a red card. It's a free kick in a dangerous position, but Palmeiras now they're kind of not.
Ziyech.
It's over.
Happy. Yeah, we're nearly into the 6th minute of the additional 3 that we were added on.
I would love Ziyech to score a free kick here.
I'd quite like him to flick it up and volley it out of the ground,
Tuchel
just so we
said
can
don't
just call it there.
Tuchel said don't shoot. He said you can see him. He said pass it around.
Well, that makes the professional thing to do would be that.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, there's a wee bit of me that he's done that. He's done that to kill the game.
And there's full time. Chelsea are champions of the
world.
Come on.
Fantastic. That is absolutely magnificent.
There we go. And again, you can see at full time how much it means to play. Mateo Kovacic central to that. It's his 3rd Club World Championship. Mateo Kovacic won 2 around Madrid.
Give us that gold badge.
Yeah, absolutely. Get the little gold plaque that's going to be on the shirt. Pat, this is nice because you get a moment of this, but I suppose there is an element of it as well. Chelsea have come through this. It's been a difficult task. You celebrate tonight, and unfortunately, because of the demands of the season, they'll be back on a plane tonight or tomorrow morning, and then we go again for Christmas.
And you worry about that then, but this is a fabulous, fabulous moment for every single one of those players. No more for Kai Havertz than it is for Tony Rudiger, and Aspe, but it's great for them all. Barry, you told me a stat earlier on, was it yourself that mentioned it? How many games per trophy it is, or per final it is for Thomas Tuchel. It's extraordinary.
After the Liverpool game, it will be every 14.4 games he manages Chelsea in a final.
It's just ridiculous, and the silverware is flying in now. It's a brilliant moment. I don't want to take anything out, because well done, Romelu. I thought he had a great game today. He gave us a real platform for this, with scoring the goal and how he worked. But Kai Havertz, I want to know if anyone else has done that. I am not betting against him scoring a winner in the World Cup final next. Because see if you score the winner in one final, he's done it in the Champions League in the World Club. Oh, that's extraordinary, that.
Staggering, absolutely staggering. Absolutely staggering. Lauren, you and the team, not worried at all, were you? Absolutely calm, the pinnacle composure throughout, never a worry.
Yeah, had it in the bag.
Again, fantastic performance, fantastic result, and again, something to celebrate tonight. Very, very pleased.
Yeah, definitely. There's one that we wanted. We've got a lot of friends out there, obviously, who have watched Chelsea win trophies live in lots of stadiums, and this was the last one. So I'm so pleased for them as well that they've seen us win everything now.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, and salute to them for making the journey as well, because that's fantastic. Yeah, it's brilliant. It's lovely to see the Chelsea fans, and again, the Chelsea players now celebrating, and they'll certainly be going over to the Chelsea fans and giving them their moment. Terran, it's nice to tick everything off, isn't it? It's a new piece of silverware to add to the trophy cabinet, one that we've not had before, and especially for Cesar Azpilicueta, the man that has won literally everything that he can win in a Chelsea shirt now.
Absolutely. It's awesome to see him finally close out the hardware, close out everything, and just be a champion of everything across every competition. This is amazing. Oh, my gosh.
Fantastic result. Absolutely fantastic result. Jonathan, very pleased. Thank you so much, because I know you've stayed up late for this one, so hopefully it was worth staying up very late for.
Definitely, it's 3:10 a.m. for me right now. So one thing, I would like to give a shout out to the team that won us the Champions League last year. Players like Giroud, Emerson, they play a big part in us earning the right to play in this Club World Cup as well. So a big shout out to them, Giroud, Abraham, and players like that.
Fantastic point, fantastic point. Jonathan, thank you so much. Taryn, thank you so much. Elliot, Livy and Lauren, thank you so much as well for coming on and being a part of it. Thank you, Gallery, as well. Superb as always.
Yes.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, guys. Yeah, what a result. Pat, thank you, mate. It's always a pleasure. Sam, Dan, awesome. We did it, boys.
We've won it all.
We've won it all. Kings of Europe, scratch that. Kings of the world, mate. Thank you for watching.